This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
All right, everybody, what's up? It's Friday night. It's open comms time. We are all here. We are missing drunk Canadian from the normal lineup.
So we're not all here.
We're all here. There's always an exception.
The best who are
There's
here
always a
are
but.
here.
There's always a but somewhere. But yeah, drunk Canadian went and got hitched, and he's off to Jamaica, man. So, congrats to him. And then we got Blastum here with us, and Matterall's in here too.
Meadow's kind of here. He's like
lurking.
What are you at your son's baseball practice or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's kind of on the road. But yeah, so drunk Canadian. Well, I guess he left today. I mean, last week he was here. The night before is I don't know, Canadian version of his wedding, and then today I guess he left for Jamaica. He tweeted something out there about I'm going, have a good time tonight. And I'm like, yeah, man, congratulations. Make sure your wife asks the bartender for a big bamboo.
I saw that.
Which I'm really hoping that she goes up and says, I was told to ask for a big bamboo, because that just means a big black dick in Jamaica.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, Dirk.
The funny thing is, I was like, I don't know what that means. That must mean something. But in my mind, I was thinking,
well, it sounds like a drink, right? It could be a drink if you're saying to ask the bartender.
I wasn't thinking like an actual dick. I was thinking it was like some kind of like penetration joke. But yeah, apparently my dirty mind.
Yeah, my lady, we have it delivered to your room. Anyways, yeah. So I hope he has a good time down there. I love Jamaica. We talked about that last week. So we won't dwell a lot on that. But congratulations to him. I don't know. We don't have a whole hell of a lot on the agenda tonight. I want to say, if it was not for a couple of things that kind of popped up in the last 24 hours, it would probably be even lighter, and then we'd get caught trying to I don't know, make up things to talk about, and then we end up going down some serious friggin' rabbit holes. But yeah. Hey, thank you very much.
Yep.
Blaze it.
Blaze
it. 420 Blaze it. I do want to say this on that. I was looking back. Through some streamer chats for INN, which I hadn't looked through in a while. And when you take into account the various metrics that we use at INN, so from the number of viewers, the number of max viewers, and the number of concurrent average viewers, and tips and subscribers and followers, and all of these different metrics, right? Open Comms came out with the highest score of anything on INN for the month of June.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that was
Thanks,
nice.
team.
We beat out the Meta Show, okay, which is which really has much bigger numbers than we do, ends up with bigger subscribers and things like that. But one of the thing that pushed us over the edge, I'm going to be straight up honest, and I'll guzzle the rest of my freaking beer here, for it. And next week I will do a shot, because fuck it, I'm just gonna have a shot once in a while. It is the generosity of our viewers who throw some in.
We just got the bits donation from Orcus God, 500 bit. That's $5.
Yeah,
Sounds
look. We don't sit there and say, "Hey, can you make sure you give to us? Because you know what, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes," or whatever. Whatever it is that streamers make up for why you should reach into your pocket or whatever.
No, we'll just need new livers eventually, but we don't need that yet.
Well, so wait, what does the money given to us actually go towards?
Right now, it's going
it
towards.
Just sits in a PayPal account.
Yeah,
I get
right.
access to.
Right now, it's going towards like Drayden has control of it, and I don't know.
I think the plan. So
we're gonna
like,
have some drinks out in Vegas. Like,
yeah,
with the team.
I mean, it just sits there. I don't keep any of it. So, but it's like show money, and so I think the plan is that when we go to Vegas, we're just gonna have show drinks on, and I'll probably because I don't think you could use PayPal to pay for stuff down there, so I'll probably transfer it to my account, pull the cash out, and then just have that cash be like, okay, this is Open Comms money, and we'll just get some Open Comms drinks with it or something.
Yeah.
That'd be
Open
fun as
comms,
hell.
table dances.
No, I mean, obviously, if we need to use it for something else, this year I don't think I'm doing a T-shirt out in Vegas. I've done a T-shirt the last 3 years out there. Honestly, one of the biggest reasons is because I just can't beat that one from last year, and it's like I can't.
Can we do like a flask or a shot glass and then give it away like at Vegas, or and keep
Maybe we
some
can do
and
something
give
like
away
that.
on
Yeah,
streams?
Yeah, like we haven't like come, but yeah.
Sort
so,
out
I mean,
the stream level Drayden. They're saying I don't know what that means exactly. I haven't read up, but.
Can we do shots now? Cork has donated $10 in bits, and then the 420.
Yeah,
So
well, anyways,
shot for donations.
We'll definitely do a shot for that. And you know what? Thank you all for your generosity over the time, and for continuing to watch and like telling your court mates and all that kind of shit. Because I got to be honest, like that final score that was out there, I really like being ahead of the Meta Show and even Boat. Boat's a big money getter, but he does like 4 times the number of shows we do, right? I mean, we do we're once a week for 2 hours, so. It was kind of nice to see that.
Yeah,
Otto Bismarck.
We got another 500-bit donation from Corcus God. That's a double.
Thank you.
He's saying drink on dirt.
Now,
so
what I am going to say is this: is that like last week, I don't have vodka again this week.
Do a shot.
I am kind of trying this thing, like where I don't do shots. But I don't know. I think last week was pretty good. I got to be honest. But I'm gonna be straight up, okay? It was like 12 and a half beers last week on what is normally a 3 to 4 beer night with some shots. It was warm. It was warm here in my office. It was going down smooth. I woke up the next morning and I'm like, holy shit, my garbage can's filled with beer cans.
Who did that?
So bad, man. So bad. I look like a fucking alky, but
You
whatever.
should just had them all over the floor.
The
When
things
Kate
you have
came
to do to
downstairs,
stay
she'd
on
be like,
top.
"What the fuck happened here?" You're like, party.
Well, jumping back on the eVegas topic, kind of offshoot, they did announce at least 2 player presenters, and of course we have one with us tonight, Matterall. Congratulations.
Oh.
And then the other player presentation is Maximilian Singularity, the 6th, the first of his name. So yeah, Space Pope, of course, is a big draw for the player presentations. Of course, Permaband's going to be there. I think is it CCP Hunter Rain? He's Permaban.
CCP Hunter, CCP Guard, CCP Nova.
Nova, yes.
And then CCP Atomic. So CCP Nova and CCP Atomic both do like background work. So you don't really see them, like as a front end developer. They're more of like, I just know CCP Nova does all like the sound work and the camera work for the shows. So every time the 07 show's going on, he's there. And CCP Atomic, which is the female Saint, like I believe lead singer, and she does a lot of work in the background as well.
Yeah, so I think they might have at least most of Permaban there. I didn't get any answer on that, but yeah, they're always a good draw. So again, Matterall, do you have like a topic yet?
Yeah, I forgot that I was announced. I guess it came out. I didn't even know. I think Dirk told me, but I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it actually came out. Yeah, the topic's going to be probably it's along the lines of Eve History Tour. It's going to be player made tour, so it's kind of going to go along the lines of war and how it mutates one conflict to the next. And I will probably pick it up after 2009, where the book Empires of Eve leaves off, because that's covered very well by that book. And so I'll probably do the 2009 and beyond.
So 2009 until the end of the Halloween War.
Pretty much. Since it kind of stopped, right?
Well, what about?
And then next year you can do a presentation on the years in the desert of stagnation.
But you're not going to cover the Casino War or World War B?
Yeah, I'll probably cover that. I mean, the original
That's past
concept.
the Halloween War.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's like 3 years past the Halloween War.
Thing is, I have a whole hour this time, which is good. Last time I spoke a couple of years ago, I only had half hour, I think. So was
Yeah, and you had to rush through that. That was the whole like nefarious, what was it, Illuminati, like who controls some shit or whatever.
Yeah, the secret guys that run the show in EVE Online, the Illuminati, and those guys were actually. I thought it was a very interesting talk because.
Can you believe I remembered that? I am
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
the only person that remembers what your presentation was on. Like even like sort of.
There might be one other. Minxie really liked it too. But yeah, it was the Illuminati, who are basically hackers, who are the guys that are actually in charge. They're the guys that penetrate, get information, and guys that defend against other Illuminati. And man,
But yeah, it did say Matterall from Talking in Stations fame. Now some people out there were trying to say that Matterall was famous, but it really wasn't. It was that Talking in Stations is famous, and it's Matterall from that.
That's right.
Is Talking in Stations
That's
famous
your show.
because it's led by Matterall? Or
I don't know.
Is
It
Matterall
didn't say
famous because of Talking in Stations?
That was not in there.
Matterall is a liability to Talking in Stations.
Could be.
You can tell by the fundraising. It gets TIS gets whomped by Open Comms.
Do we? All right, do you?
Yeah,
Tell you what,
totally.
drink on a Saturday morning, people will be throwing money at your ass.
Yeah, I guess.
No, seriously, if everybody knew he was on the west coast of the U.S., like boozing it up at like 8 a.m., they'd be like, take my money.
I mean, there's actually like now funny thing, like there's actually a lot of people that know about Talking to Station. I mean, obviously, but even people that are kind of new, because I was in Corp Comms the other night, and a newer guy came in. And he was well, I think he's newer to like the media and podcasting and all that stuff.
Maybe he was newer to you being in corp.
And he heard my voice, and people, so I was like, oh, that's Drayden, and he's like, oh, and they're like, yeah, he does podcasting too, and he's like, oh, do you do Talking in Stations? And I was like,
That show was
no,
made
I
for me.
used
That's what
to.
you should-
I've been on there, but so he knew that, he didn't know Open Comms, so I was like, well, you need to start drinking, man.
Yeah, Open Comms is not the well-known one. Talking in Stations is definitely well-known. Talking in Stations beats us on numbers on a Saturday morning.
Well, it's a serious analytical.
Which I would
they
expect.
really get
Which I
down
would
into like,
expect.
the serious business.
Well, not just that. I would expect that because of the time zone that it's in. You're getting Americans that are willing to wake up for it. You're getting Europeans that are already up for it. Here, number one, we're at night on a Friday, and despite what people think, some EVE players do things on Friday nights. Not just sit around. We're very grateful for those of you that sit around like us and have nothing better to do than either do this show or watch this show. Apple Pear's out there saying it's 1700 EU mainland time right now. It's like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Well, no. He's saying that for Talking in Stations, it comes on at 1700. Yeah, it comes on at 1500 UTC. For him, it's 1700. So it's in kind of like a. It's in kind of a time zone that
not bad, 'cause
that gets
it's
that, but
morning-
it's also a good show because of the people that he has on it.
Right, yeah,
in terms of the guests and a subject matter that tends to be very focused. I mean, obviously, this is none of those things. That's why when people say, "Geez, you could do a much better show," it's like, but then it wouldn't be Open Comms. It wouldn't be.
This is a fun
it
show.
wouldn't be
and,
this.
Like we do convey. It's not like we don't ever talk about EVE or don't ever convey information on here. We just convey dumb information on here and have fun doing it. But
Do you know what the difference is? Here's the difference, okay? Matterall could not do Talking in Stations, sitting down at a table with a bunch of people. We could do Open Comms with the entire crowd sitting in a fucking conference room with beers in front of them, and it would be the exact
holy
same thing.
shit. Wolf Glenn just donated 50 bucks.
Wow!
Fucking
Holy
Wolf.
cow.
Wow,
Guys,
Wolf
we-
Glenn, thank you.
Shots. Dirk, go
Thanks,
get a
Wolf
shot.
Glenn. And
Shots.
Wolf Glenn
I don't
is
even have anything in the house, so like.
Dirk, pretend to do a shot then.
No, I'm gonna
God.
listen to like guzzle
He
the
had-
You
rest
don't,
of
you
this
don't
beer.
have Fireball?
He
I
had
got
a
nothing.
message there.
No, I don't
Hold
have
on.
Fireball. That's on a freaking clip that Manic Velocity put out to everybody a couple weeks ago
I
where I
gotta-
closed that bottle
I
off.
gotta move the chat. He put a message in there. It was a couple words, but it was
Shots for the donations and the subs.
God, I was never good at fucking guzzling beer. I got to be honest.
Man, that's super cool. It's Gotta figure out who
Wolfglen was
that guy
actually the
is.
one.
What?
that I saw in Corp Chat. Not the new guy,
Wolfglen is the
but the guy that
hero,
was mentioning me.
the hero donator of Talking in Stations that even puts you on the freaking board.
Yeah.
He's the one that comes through for you,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
and saves you from having to like mow lawns and shit. Which, for those of you who don't know, that's not just a freaking Mexican joke or some shit like that. That is actually a joke that Matterall made about, you know, something, and then next thing you know, Wolfglen came through with a thing going, here, you don't have to mow lawns.
Yeah, I actually there's a story behind that because I went to Boy Scout camp and the next camp over was a Girl Scout camp, so I met a girl, but she lived far away. So in order
I
to
met a girl.
in
I
order
met
to
a
End of
girl.
the story there.
in order to go and visit, I had to raise money, and so I mowed lawns one summer. That's how I paid for it.
All right, I swear to God, I don't like. I know
Yeah,
what
man.
it is, and I should probably just switch to open mic on this damn show. It's like fuck.
When you say you know what it is, I mean, okay,
I know what
so,
it is,
so
but there's no way around it. Like the
it's
only
funny
way
that
around it is
it's
to have
funny
open
that it's
mic.
already happened because we talked a little bit about this in a different way before the show, and we're gonna try and get an alliance tournament commercial together for open comps, which is something that we've
Right.
never
Oh,
done.
good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
And
yeah.
every-
We're doing
And
that.
every year during the alliance tournament, like we sit there and go, why don't we have why don't we have one? I mean, like, you know, whatever. It's not like it like takes, you know,
Oh, I
some
owe shots.
mastery or
Hold
whatever
on.
to do. Okay. And we were talking about various things, and I forget what it was that Drayden said, and I'm like, well, what if what we had was we like opened up and it was like the screen of us, and it was dead silence, but you're yelling into the camera and your mouth is moving and whatnot. And you're like, yeah, but you know what? Not everybody would get that. They wouldn't understand kind of the joke behind it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I mean, the people that watch the show would get it. The other people would be like, huh? Also, I'm gonna call again. Corgus God subbed. I called it out before, but I think that was when my mic was muted. So thanks for the sub
He
as well,
also
Corgus God.
He said, "I subbed. Drink up, Dirk. So I'll keep drinking, Dirk. You
but,
got a long way to catch up."
So I think
did,
I
just,
mentioned it before. I know what it
I'm like
is that's
3
causing
beers
it.
in already. We're like
We're like
literally
3
19
shots in.
minutes.
Step it up, loser.
So-
Okay.
I have OBS as the active window, and I have it opened as administrator. And so the push talk should just carry through. But the thing is, like, if people type in Skype or TeamSpeak, those activate in the background, and like on the taskbar they start flashing, which then makes OBS no longer the active window, and so it doesn't recognize my push to talk, and so it cuts my mic out, and I don't know it. So
Man.
the only way around that is for Windows to either get better, or for me to figure out some other, like, maybe just have open mic and then like toggle mutes so I can, you know, not. I don't have open mic because like then people just hear vaping sounds all the time, and that's fucking obnoxious. I hate the whole
Vape Nation.
the fucking popcorn lung
I
sound.
don't,
Like when
I don't
people
know
have
if
their
mics,
mic open, it's like
I don't want them to hear me wheeze.
it's like fuck off, mute your shit.
All right, you know what? Again, thank you to everybody out there who supports this show. Absolutely fucking love you guys. It's why we do it every freaking week. You know, and again,
Shots.
this show is not the same without the people who are actually out there in the audience, especially the live audience. Sorry for the people that listen to it afterwards, but especially for the live audience, it's why we try and interact with you guys as best as we possibly can. You know, and it's, you know, and obviously for us, it's what makes going to things like Vegas and Eve Northeast in a couple weeks and things like that, you know, all the better, because, you know, we get to run into you and all that kind of shit. But what we are going to do now that we have like done all that thanking stuff and, you know, whatnot, is we're going to get on to like, you know, some of the things here. The first one that I want to, talk about, again, we're doing some kind of like small things, quick mentions and whatnot. This was kind of funny because on Independence Day, USA America Raw, okay, they came out with Star Captain Amar Battleship skins being on sale. So basically just like cars and appliances here in the United States, they decided that they were going to have a sale on red, white, and blue Amar Battleship skins, which is now going to, what is it? It goes from July 4th through July 11th. These are actually pretty badass. There is as close to... It's too bad they're just a Mar, because you know what? Every goddamn battleship needs a goddamn red, white, and blue skin. It just
Yeah, although
does,
you
because
think
it
it
works.
would
It
start-
works. It works for so many of the countries that are associated with Eve, right?
You-
It's not just us.
Well, you'd think it'd be Galente that had the red, white, and blue because their government type is the most close to like the U.S. Amar is
Huh.
like theocratic.
They're the Star. Oh yeah, they are Star Captains. They're so
Autocracy.
pretty.
Yeah, it's the Star Captain. Yeah, I
Country.
mean,
Don't you believe in Christian Nation USA?
Well, I'm not saying we need to have a freaking battleship with a cross on it or anything, but yeah, I mean, I guess you could have done that with
Amar.
Yamar.
Is probably more like
Oh.
Byzantine, like
Or on
theocratic,
Christmas.
autocratic, just kind of empire.
I'm just saying that, you know what? These are pretty nice skins. I mean, they're not the Omegathron by any means, but yeah, I think that there should be red, white, and blue skins all over the place. Look, that even counts for France. It counts for Great Britain. It counts for, it counts for Russia. Hell, it counts for freaking Russia. You can have a red, white, and blue skin with like a, blonde-haired wig on it, and it would be like the U.S. and Russia at the same time.
Yeah. And thanks Chisumi for the sub with Twitch Prime. Oh shit.
Hasn't Chisumi like been subbed for like 2
Belgium?
years or something?
Yeah, but
like,
it's just a regular. I don't know if
Right?
it's because
Or
he
is
did it
it
with Twitch
red?
Prime or if he just
Oh,
unsubs
okay.
and then resubs. I don't know.
I don't know, Dirk. I disagree with you. I don't think there should be red, white, and blue colors in here
Why?
because
There's
it's
a lot of
like
You want red, white, and green?
I'll
So
say
it's just
something-
you in Italy?
yes, we'll have eagles. No, it's more the I don't know. And then people are going to disagree with this, but I don't like the police skins either because who's going to
okay,
have
get
a
him out of
police
this
car?
show. Get him
They-
out of this
Who's
fucking
going to have a
show.
police? I have the
want,
police
they
Kronos,
want
but
pink.
why would you?
They want pink. You know what I mean? It's like
Pink skins, they sold $40,000
Exactly.
worth of pink skins. So don't sit there and lecture me on skins.
people want what they
because
want.
pink skins got
Except
sold so
except
much.
a lot of these people are the same ones that are like, you're breaking my immersion if you tell me that there's a CSM election coming up in my Eve mail.
Why would that be breaking their immersion that their in-game mail source got political?
Because it's an out-of-game Council of Stellar Management. You can't tell me in-game. You're
It's-
breaking my immersion.
It's essentially the in-game galactic.
Who said that?
Who talks like that?
Yep. believe me, the guys that say that talk like that.
No, like the
I want
CSM
a
is
name. I'm
an
gonna
in-game
email them right
thing.
now.
Well, I don't know. You could think of it as an in-game thing. It's like a galactic Senate election, and hey, guess what? Your representative is sending you bullshit mail in the mail.
Chisumi says, can we talk about however... Except here's the problem, okay? And this is just like everything else in Eve, okay? For the people that say that's horrible, there's somebody out there going, fuck yeah! Do you know what I
Okay,
mean?
Dirk,
It's
I
like-
want you to point to one person who flies the Galente green skins and who willingly pays real life money for the ugly as fuck Galente green skins.
People that like
I don't know,
green.
why do we have space camo that looks like you're in the foliage of a freaking,
Right.
tropical war zone?
Right.
Because it has lore behind it with some of the like pirate factions or whatever. But speaking of pirate factions, the Serpentis skins are getting IGC skins, I believe, in
Yep.
the next patch as support of the AT coming out. So look forward to all the way down to the rookie ship as well.
Well, I mean, like, Dirk has a point though. Like, if you want to get really technical about it, say you're shooting, like, generally when you're shooting ships, well, I mean, unless you're, in frigates, but like, if you're shooting like even battleships, you're shooting from like 50 kilometers. If you're 50 kilometers away from something that's like a quarter, or maybe like 2/3 of a kilometer long, you're only gonna, and it's in the black of space. You're only gonna see that if it has lights on it, regardless of its color. It doesn't matter what color it is. If it doesn't have lights on, you're
No,
not
and that's
seeing
true.
it.
And it's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I don't buy frigate skins, right? Because it's like, look, I'm just not zooming in that close to be able to see.
Oh,
that
I
shit.
like
I
the
mean,
zoom.
I've got
I always
skins for
fly
caps,
zoomed
some battleship skins and things like that, right? I really don't go down into skins and those other things. I think they're freaking waste because I don't play Eve zoomed in like that. However, some people dig that shit, and that is what makes the world go round. Is
Right,
that CCP can sell these things because people are like, oh yeah, I love that skin.
Yeah, I like the ship skins. I have to be honest, I haven't bought any, but I've whatever the free. I don't even know how I got them, but I've gotten free skins. Although the one I got the sweet ass Arc skin, and
There is one.
yeah, the white one or whatever.
Oh,
Who sent?
Oh, the
someone
clan
sent-
skin.
Yeah. Was it Chisumi that sent me that one, or it might have been Z Master, or it might have been Lieutenant Dan. Someone like there's a regular listener to the show.
It might have been somebody.
No,
you're talking about the Arc Rata?
The purity of the throne.
the purity of the
skin.
throne skin. Yeah. I was like, I want. I
Oh.
was saying on the show, I was like, I want one of those skins. I want to get it. Sell it to me. I don't care if you charge me like $250 million ISK. I'll fucking pay it. And
Damn, that's
someone
some-
just like
that's some
they sent it
reach.
to me for free. They're like, here, you can have this. And so
That's
it's like,
some reach.
So, but then other than that, like just whatever skins that I got for free from Eve, and I don't know how I got them, but I have those. But I never bought a skin. But I do like them because I do fly
These
my
are the
shit
things,
zoomed all the way in because
and
I'm generally
there's
anchored.
nothing different in Eve. There's nothing different in Eve, right? You play other games. People want pink guns. They want like flaming hot, whatever colored guns and shit like that, right? Eve is no different, and I understand that. Like I don't know, in the dystopian universe that is Eve, they don't have pink paint. Well, guess what? You know what? Somebody needs to fucking invent pink paint. We've got goddamn warp
pink
drives.
Paint. It's called light red.
We have warp drives. Why don't we have pink paint?
Exactly. You know what?
But
You get your customers what they want if they want to throw money at you. Don't be stupid.
I was gonna say skins are like one of the best ways because like in any sort of PvP game, it looks really awesome when like you kill somebody and then you do like some sort of taunt, some sort of like there's like dance or like emotes or you have like
I killed you with my pink
cheesy
skin.
Yeah, and so people do that. Like you watch like League of Legends, a lot of the professionals will have like skins and there's like one, I believe, like probably the best mid laner, but he doesn't use skins.
Faker?
But all the rest, like CS, no.
Well,
Wait,
Faker's
is
the
it
best
Faker?
mid
It might
laner.
be. Yeah, I think it's Faker. He doesn't use skins, but all the other
Yeah, he
ones
does.
use skins. I heard they did. He didn't. I don't really watch
I've watched,
it. But, yeah.
like I don't watch the LCS or the LCK, but I watch Worlds and he uses skins. But anyway, what I'm saying is like I like skins and I fly all the way zoomed in because I'm always anchored up and just shooting at whatever's broadcasted to me. So I don't need to be zoomed out and paying attention. Someone else flies my ship for me as long as I just push the right buttons. So I can have the luxury of zooming in on my nice, pristine, nice looking skinned ship.
The point is that when it comes to skins, okay,
and when it comes to competitions, people
and at some
love
point,
it.
right? And at some point, with these structures out there, one would think that we're gonna have structure skins and stuff like that, right? That you put out there what the customers want to give you money for. Period. End of story. Fuck immersion.
Fuck immersion. No, I'm gonna fight for immersion.
I don't care what your lore says about colors.
I don't. What's the lore basis for camouflage, by the way?
Well, because we all know
thought
that
it was,
warriors use camouflage.
Well, I just
So
debunked
like if you
it about the whole
if you look at a
50K
lot of the
thing.
pirate, I was gonna say if you look at a lot of the pirate ships, they have like some sort of camo, based on their like I guess normal race like faction or whatever. But if you, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you look at some of the pirate ones, they always say like, oh, they stole the technology, or oh, this or that, or oh, it's made. Like I know a lot of the faction ships, like faction frigates or faction cruisers, like the Navy or the whatnot. But they, obviously like they're specified for like a specific group rather than all Caldari. It's like Navy Caldari or something like that, I guess.
I know the Blood Raiders spill blood on top of their ships, so that kind of makes that pattern. But
Oh, really?
that's what that's what that is.
Nice.
But that's kind of neat until you think about the size of a Titan, which is what New York City size. And Fozzie said it's like that's a lot of blood.
Well, I think New York's really big though. A Titan's
Yeah,
like
well.
what, 3 to 4 kilometers long.
There's
No, that's
plenty
the
of people
radius.
living
It's
on
like
these
6
planets to
kilometers
paint your
long.
Titan in blood.
I guess so. I guess there are enough. Just
It's like
vacuum
the
them.
size of Long Island or Manhattan Island, I guess. Wait, is that
Yeah,
Manhattan
so it's-
Island? Is that what it's called?
Manhattan. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Manhattan
Well, I mean the
Island is
island that
island.
Manhattan's on. Is that
Yeah,
called?
it's not an island. It's just called Manhattan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
5
island.
boroughs
It's,
in New
it's
York.
got two. The river goes around it on both sides. Like where Manhattan is, like it's an island that has bridges on both sides of it.
I call it Manhattan.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
know. We're splitting hairs at this point.
and only to be saying and like move on because 9:31, so you want to get to some of these things. Jin Tan couldn't be here tonight. However, Jin Tan had something come out this week that made him so happy. Okay, and I'm gonna link it into
Anime?
Twitch right now.
Anime skins.
No, apparently Jin Tan was behind this thing that up on your screen, it won't just be damage broadcasts and energy neutralizer broadcasts and warp scram broadcasts, but Bobby repped Jimmy for 400 reps.
So
Logi
now when you
Logi combat and combat logs and
so
text
now when
up
you
on your screen.
accidentally rep an enemy, everyone will fucking know.
All reps
Exactly.
on Kane.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be up there or whatever.
You said it's in the logs, or is it like in the?
It's gonna be in the logs, just like your combat log. Like you did damage,
Okay,
27.
Okay. I was gonna say like if
you know-
it's putting out because like when you like this person attempted a warp scramble on this pilot. Like, it pops out like out in space or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna do that too.
For every single fucking rep, that's gonna
Fucking
spam the
reps,
shit out of your
baby.
screen if you're in a fleet fight. I would hate that. I'm turning that off.
Well, you can obviously, I would think.
I'm gonna opt out
You know
of
what?
that.
Who
because
knows?
there's
Maybe
gonna
they'll
be,
have
like,
it in there for the month of Logi glory, where like everybody has to see it.
If you have 10
but I
Logis,
think you'll be able to turn it
it's
off.
gonna be spammed so much that, well, I guess they'll just see you and the other 9 people's name a million times on their screen. But damn, that's
I mean, look,
it's
we know
cool,
that
but it's
we
I
know
think
that
that'd be
Logi
annoying
doesn't
as
get the
hell.
credit that they should.
And I'm a
right?
Logi
Zane
pilot.
Pando says no, it doesn't show for everyone.
It doesn't show for everyone.
Okay.
Oh.
It's like the
It
NOS
just shows for the
mute
Logi.
messages.
The Logi
Oh,
itself.
okay.
Oh.
Fuck Jintan.
Yeah, Jintan. You couldn't even get this out to everybody. Not everybody has to see, your shit in the background. Okay, but however, what it is nice for, okay, look, there is technically kind of a thing behind this, right? And that is when they put in the whole thing of optimal range and whatnot. And you're seeing what you're repping for. It, might cause you to say, oh, let me scoot in a little bit closer or whatever, because I've gotten out of a range where I'm repping a lot less or whatever. So there is that indicator kind of portion of it, which totally makes freaking sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that this is like some sort of freaking joke, on Jintan or anything like that. There are some things that make some logic here about why you would get notifications.
Did everybody
That's
just?
silent.
Shh.
Fucking
Matterall,
silent,
don't
non-logic
silent.
mofos.
Damn it, Matterall.
Holy cow!
I was enjoying myself.
On
Well, not
screen?
that. Well, hold on. Let's not take this the wrong way. The worst thing is, I'm hot in here, so I was like fanning my shirt, so it's like, hold on, Matterall, I'm enjoying myself.
See, and you people out in the audience wonder why Dirk talks so much, because when Dirk stops talking, it goes fucking silent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I said. I was-
No,
I
not
said-
oh yeah,
yells
not
at-
oh
he yells
yeah.
at
Somebody
us.
I
jump
said,
in
well,
and
yeah,
say something.
not oh yeah.
I did say I was just gonna lurk. So-
And not
But
you. The
this
expectation's
is-
not on you. It's on these regulars.
Is
Why
this a
didn't
step
Jeremy
to
chime
having-
in there and go,
I'm-
fuck yeah, Logi?
Chiming in right now. Is
I
this a step
actually-
to having Logi on kill mails now?
Hopefully, Logi on Kill Hills win.
Well, okay, and that is something that I think out in that Reddit thread before they went off onto like a CNN thing or whatever, they started to get into, right? Is like, well, can't you just then use try and get Logi on? What are you going to get them on? Anybody you repped? Do you get some credit for like some portion of the kill that they made, or like before you rep them, after you rep them? I mean, it really gets kind of convoluted in that sense. Kill mails are kill mails, people.
I think whether it be like on the kill mail as in you got credit for being in the fleet and helping someone, or even if it's more of like a defensive kill mail as like you showed up with people who did the most damage, people got final blow, top damage or whatever, and then you have like your Logi reps, how much you repped and kept someone alive or something like that.
Well, hold on.
I think that would be cool, like even if you like didn't get credit for the kill, but it still gave you credit for keeping a teammate alive before they died.
Because like they could add that, like if you've repped someone that killed someone else, you get on that kill. But here's the thing: what if instead of putting reps
There should
on
be
kill
save
mails,
mails though,
I
right?
was-
There should be save
I was just gonna
mails.
say, I was like,
were
what
you,
if they made
were you
rep
reps
mails?
on somebody who got shot and lived?
Yeah, what if they made rep mails that of someone that took damage that didn't die? I don't know. It would maybe show who shot them for how much damage and how much you repped them and who else repped them for how much. Because then it would be a thing where it's like you can't, try to fudge it to where it's like, blues just shoot each other.
Do
and then rep
medics
each other to
in
get
war
mails,
ever
but it's
really
like, then it would
get
just show a bunch
kind of the
blues
credit that
shot
they
you.
deserve?
That's
Yes, they do.
ridiculous. All that stuff's ridiculous.
Nana Helsinki
Don't
just
rain on our
subscribed.
parade. Oh yeah, we just
Sorry.
got. Damn, Nana Helsinki just.
The thing is,
18 months.
18
Nana.
months.
the thing that's interesting.
Nana, are
Thank
you
you.
the Nana out in the forums that was arguing with the CCP dev? Now I got to go fucking find it. It was
Go-
one of the
go find
recent
it.
things.
I'll take it for a second.
But keep talking. Go.
Two _E here in comments says kill mail culture is the cancer that is killing Eve, and that I think is a very good point. That there is this. I actually wrote something on it. It was called the tyranny of kill mails. I think it was because
Yep.
it actually matters in your career how many kill mails you have and what's on them. And so then people become overly concerned with the body count, which is, a real basic way to measure activity. And we were talking about this earlier when we were talking about PAPs, which are participation links that the Imperium has, or, the other groups that measure some, their activity in certain different ways and stuff like that, and just how
Kill
much
mails
they
and
fall
nullsec are
short.
absolute bullshit. They are the most literal bullshit ever. Because number one, if your kill board is not green and you're in a nullsec alliance as part of big fleets,
Shots.
Right.
I have no idea what it is you're doing wrong.
You would, playing. That's what's weird. In fact, when somebody says like, "Look at my kill ratio or kill efficiency," it's like
The
at
kill efficiency,
95%. Yeah,
It
it's like
does show a level of
95%.
activity, though. Okay, like
Well,
if
yeah,
you're
but
if you are in a nullsec alliance, okay, one would think that over time you're going to show a certain level of activity, right? Now when people are rolling up, 1,500 or 2,000 kills over the course of a month or whatever in a nullsec alliance, big freaking deal. Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, especially in the middle of a war, you can get that quite easily just through kind of like average participation.
Yeah, I mean,
because it doesn't take anything. We all know what whore guns are. We all know that if your guns haven't cycled
don't-
fast or are reloading, drop a target your target painter on them or a freaking tracking disruptor or whatever until you get to the next target.
the thing is, unless you're like Logi or any kind of support ship, the only ones, but basically other than Logi, the other support ships are using offensive stuff like newts or paints or something like that.
Well, I mean,
So they're gonna
even
get on
something
anyway.
cool. I was gonna say, even something cool, like if you use interdictors, just because you put a bubble up and you're the enemy doesn't warp, then that doesn't show up on kill mails. Or if you use command destroyers
The thing though
and
is
strategically put your fleet on top of the enemy fleet, or remove
There's a number
your
of
fleet to
support things.
safety.
But here's the thing: if you put a bubble up and they don't try to warp while in it, your bubble
Doesn't
didn't
trap 'em.
do anything.
Yeah,
well,
but
I mean, there's a
that
psychological thing of
means
they
know
know
not
they
to hit
can't
the
warp
warp button.
out.
Why would you hit a warp button when you're stuck in a bubble? That's just being stupid and wasting your
Because,
ticks.
Sometimes, hey, you never
You
know
know why?
bugs happen,
Here,
Wayne.
can I give you a reason why you would hit warp while you were in a warp bubble? Because you were zoomed in looking at your skin and didn't see the fucking bubble around
You can
you.
see a
Yep.
bubble around you, Dirk. It's in all of the background
Not if you're
around your
focused on the
ship.
skin.
You jump through a gate,
Jesus.
you're zoomed in looking at your skin,
You
you're with
can
your
see
fleet,
the bubble, and you should be paying attention to your overview,
What
which
if you
has
have
the
a blue
bubble.
or your
skin?
fleet commander fleet warps you because we can fleet warp entire fleets.
What
and
if you have a
shit.
blue
I mean,
camouflage
it
skin? You
happens.
won't even know if you're in a bubble or not. You're just it's all the same.
Or
Oh
to
my
aggress the
god.
fucking saber. Exactly. Preserve.
Well, anyway, it's a rudimentary.
Preserve.
It's a very rudimentary way to measure a player's skill, right? And it used to be, I don't know if you guys remember Battle Clinic. You could kind of see how you were ranked among all the EVE players, like
I
what
never
number
used
you came
Battle
in.
Clinic.
Okay, it's gone now anyway. But the point is, it was kind of a ranking system, and people actually, looked at that sort of thing and could see themselves climb, and that's a real reinforcement to play more and do more. So it kind of helps in that way. But kill mails in general are, if you're getting 95% kill efficiency, you're doing something wrong, or you're just an F1 pusher.
Look, if you want to be a nurse, you're not going to get as much credit. Okay? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You're just not.
Well,
Now,
there's-
Noisy Gamer brings up a good point. He's like, when is CCP going to start selling skins for bubbles?
No.
And you know what? That'll be cool. We can
Well,
have big American flag
That's all
bubbles
we
out
need.
there.
Well, and what I was saying is unless you're the Logi, and half the time the Logis bring some kind of, they put the horror gun in one of their slots, or if they don't have a high slot, they'll have the horror warrior drone or
But
something.
to be the most effective Logi, you shouldn't be doing
I-
that.
yeah, that's
But,
what I
No,
was like-
you should not be.
I
but,
don't.
to show your participation though.
Right, it's
you have to do that.
But
So
the
it's
thing is,
you're not getting, internally
Actually,
you get
you're
credit
not.
for
Actually,
helping.
you're not, because even in those organizations that look to kill males, right? They know the people who fly Logi.
Yeah, it's
that becomes an accepted
Yeah, that's-
thing.
that's
well, wait a second.
internal,
I
but
fly,
if-
I fly Logi.
Yeah,
But if you
start just
if
looking
you
in
at-
go
other
to someone
organizations
else,
like the Imperium that rely on things like PAP links, which I do believe are the best way of
It is,
measuring
'cause it's
participation, not necessarily contribution, but
so
participation.
then what
They
about
can
people
drill
who
down
don't
into
fly in those big
contribution, but-
orgs? What if you
If
just
they're in a small
what if you just do
organization-
NPSIs? If I
So-
do NPSIs all the time and unless I die, and I don't try to
If you're a
whore
small
on people's kill
organization,
mail,
don't be caring about
But,
it.
well, here's the thing: if you're in a
Then
small
it's like-
organization,
then, how do I
If you're
prove that,
small, you
I'm
should know
active
them
in
on a
flying and
more
whatnot?
personal level and know that and know who is there for you and and all that.
Right, I was saying-
these things matter more in large organizations where you just can't keep track of people on a first name basis.
Right, and I was just gonna say, like, in a small organization, you're generally gonna be in pretty close contact with the vast majority of the people in your group, and so if you're in a fleet, most of those people are gonna know that you were in a fleet flying a Logi, and so they are not and if you're doing that all the time, they're like, this person's always flying Logi, so I don't expect this. If I look on their kill board and don't see any kill mails, that's because I know they fly Logi all the time, and so they aren't expecting you to be there. Honestly, it's like I when I first started playing, I used to like seeing my kill board thing go up, but like eventually people just kind of like, I mean, don't really care about kill mails. I mean,
it's like counting money. It's like counting money. You want to see it grow, and that's part of it. Same, people count ISK, people count kills.
It eventually gets to the
If
point
you're
where
in
it's
a
like,
reputable
if I know I'm
organization, they find a way of measuring you appropriately.
I don't
So I'm
care
not
if
talking
other
about
people-
these big orgs. I'm talking about
or,
stuff
like-
I remember when I would fly with like Spectre Fleet, and it's like, okay, we went out on a successful op. I was a Logi, so I kept everybody alive. But how do I prove like, oh yeah, I was playing this day. Like here's my alibi for me, like not going to work or some bullshit. Like it's
you know
kind
how
of
you prove
it's
it?
kind
You know
of
how you prove
annoying.
it? By saving somebody, Rain.
Okay,
By
Oh,
saving
hold on,
somebody.
Nanok actually just put a good point. If you're worried about being active, you're not active enough.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
that is an excellent point.
If you're worried about people knowing
If
that
you're
you're
wondering
active,
why
you
that
probably
guy
aren't
died,
active
because
very
you didn't
much.
have reps on
That's-
early enough.
So 2 points for kill mails and for Logis. Okay, so kill mails matter more for the smaller groups, like Rain was saying. Okay, so when you're flying through low sec and faction warfare and stuff, kill mails are a huge intel source. If you encounter a guy in a system, you can pull up his Z kill and see all the kills he has, and you can look at his losses and see what kind of stuff he flies. Right? So
That's
where
assuming
kill
he
mails are
loses
important.
anything.
Well,
that's assuming he loses stuff. Yeah.
Right? But if he's a small gang guy, he should be losing stuff on the regular. No one's that elite that they're 95% kill efficiency and they're flying solo. The other point is for Logis on kill mails, right? There's a damage taken stat on the kill mail. There should be a drop down menu there saying that who applied reps to him on the loss, right? So if you have an interceptor that's taken like 100 million skill or 100 million hit points, that doesn't make any sense. So when you drop down the menu, it's going to show all the faxes and everything that's been applying reps to that guy. You can do the same thing with the guys who put damage on him. If there's a drop down menu on each of those, that means those guys putting damage on that loss are the ones catching reps from somebody, and shows who's got the reps. That's what it's an easy way to put not an easy way, but a way to put Logi on people's kill mails, and it's a way to make it make sense.
But it is quite a. Here's the thing: is it that important that amount of developer time? Because I have to imagine it's it's kind of difficult to kind of come up with something that is reasonable, right?
Well,
and,
it's a good
and
thing
be
that
able
they
to
came out with a
catch
new
this.
balance team, and that will free up more of the developers to do other kinds of things.
What if they had a dedicated Logi team? To where it's like all they think about is like Logi
Team.
things.
Well, no, like I bring it up because there was
Or
one
support.
fight I was
Logi
in, and
mercenaries?
we had like 5 Logi with us, and I was like the main Logi, so I got primaried first. I overheated everything. Like we ended up winning the fight, but I ended up dying. But I took like 5 times my normal tank, so my Logi team was doing well. We were doing good. I just like kind of bait tanking, and then I eventually died. But like if you look at my kill board, it's just like, oh, okay, she died. But then it doesn't give my Logi any credit. Like, sure, my fleet probably got credit. So it's like one of those things of like, okay, yeah, sure, I died in a fight.
What if they got
but
rid
it
of kill
doesn't-
mails entirely?
No, I think
what
they're
if
too
nobody
important.
got
They're
credit
no,
for this
they're
shit?
too important
go.
for
Kill mails.
information.
When Rain was saying
Go.
she got I think she said instead of primaried, I think she said she got primated.
Primate? No, primaried.
Primaried?
Opposable
Primary.
thumbs.
I like Dirk's suggestion of getting rid of kill mails. Why?
Oh,
why
kill
would
mails.
that?
No,
why would that be a
I'm
good
Too
I'm
much
thing?
saying,
intel.
If you
It's
can't
too
be
much
fair
intel.
to everybody, should you be giving anything out to other people
no,
as
hold
well?
on.
I,
I
I'm
think
throwing
that
it
kill
out there
boards
as
should
just a
go
thought.
away. Kill
That's-
mails are still important
Well, kill
because
boards are
kill
just
mails are
a
like intel. If some,
Right, but
like,
not
say
who's
you got
on
a
them,
hostile
right?
in your space, you kill them, you get the kill mail, you can post it in intel, and you're golden. Everybody knows that hostile's been eliminated. That's the only reason why I use kill mails.
well, hold on. If you have kill mails, you can't get rid of kill boards because they're just basically a
Sure
display
you
of
can.
data.
Sure you can. You
of
can just
the kill
have the
mail.
death. You don't have to have the people that were that did
Oh, so-
0.01 or 0% damage.
But here's the thing:
You
is,
don't
like,
have to have any of that.
it's
All
already
you
in
have
the
to have
game, and
is
it'd take work to remove it. And does it really need to be removed? Like the people that don't care
What do you mean it
about
would
them
take
don't
work
care about them, but
prove
there
that?
are
I'm
people.
quite certain that CCP is quite capable of going turn off fucking
I know they can do it.
They'd have to
like,
take it
the
out of the
killer
API.
side.
I'm just saying,
They'd
like,
have to take it out of the API, and they could probably do that by accident real easy.
well, I'm just saying, like, I know they can do it, but it would.
They
Still,
can try and fix ghost training and fuck up kill mails
would
tomorrow.
It would still take effort, but here's the thing. There's a lot of people that really do care about kill mails, so why would you remove that feature out of the game? There's a lot of people that don't care, and that's
Well,
fine.
let's
If
talk
you don't
about
care, you
that.
don't care. But I
Let's
don't
talk
think
about
there's
that. Why
need
would
to
we?
remove it.
Why would we do it?
I don't
There's
There's
know.
a
not
lot
being
of people
fair.
that want to
Because
know.
you're
wouldn't.
not being fair to the people that are out there just trying to be the sociology majors of society.
There's a lot of people that are like, I want to know how much damage I did. I want to know if I was the last hit. Like,
Okay,
there's
so
people
there's
that really like kill mails,
educational
and that's
interest in
fine. They
keeping
can
them,
have
right?
them.
Because
I'm in
people want a
social worker.
reflection of people want a reflection of what they've done, what they've acted on, and what they've actually participated in, and things like that. So that would be why you would keep them in. But why would you get rid of them?
Yeah, I
There are a
wouldn't
lot
get
of
rid of them.
intel.
It would.
Yeah.
The amount of
You
rage
could
it would
argue that
cause
it's
if
a
you
lot
got
of
rid of
intel.
them, it's just
It's a lot
not
of
worth
intel.
it. Like, I mean, like the people that don't care about kill mails, why do you care if other people have kill mails and like them? That's
Because
fine.
it's free
I don't know.
knowledge. It's free
Why do
knowledge.
people with small dicks care what people with big
It's
dicks
free
have? I
knowledge,
mean,
but it's
because you know what? People measure dicks.
It's free knowledge, but if you want to break it down into like, okay, let's see why they have the knowledge. Get into the lore aspect. Hey, we're doing lore on the show. Sorry. When you blow up a ship, you can go through the remains and reverse engineer what was generally on the ship, and so you should know what that ship was fit
You
like.
should know the parts that you can recover, and you can investigate the salvage and maybe find out. But you shouldn't just know, exactly what the fit is, what the doctrine is. You should have to have a spy go and find that for you, or you should
Would
have some
that be
kind
like
of,
a new form of like a discover or exploration thing? Like have some kind of like rec scanner that like shows what the ship was fit with? Like does
No,
some
you have
reverse engineering?
scanners. You have scanners that can do it, but it
Yeah, well,
takes
the
a
ship's alive.
you have to take a slot to do it, and you have to do it in combat or whatever. But there's ways to do that. But it gives
I think that we should push CCP for either a quality one way or quality the other.
right. I want to be able to use the bathroom,
And that might fall under the balance team because you know what?
Denied, Matt
When
Earl.
something is in
What
balance,
do you mean,
it
the
is
balance
equal
team,
to both
Dirk?
sides.
What do you mean balance, Dirk? You mean balance team?
Do I have that actually coming up here? Hold on. Are we there yet?
Don't
Like,
jump ahead. well,
I'm gonna do
listen,
a shot.
I actually have that down in
I
the
didn't
bigger topics.
pre-plan
thing,
to
but-
talk about kill mails, but I do think it's it should be an open discussion. It'll never
So,
happen. But
you want
I
to
think
tie
it's an
kill
interesting
mails?
discussion.
You want to tie kill mails to the lore? Is that what we want to do?
Well, I
Sure,
I kind
if
of
you'd
did,
like to,
but
if
yeah,
you
let's-
can.
let's-
So, insurance, pen insurance. You
oh
have to
yeah, they want to
insure
know
your
what
ship,
you
right?
lost.
Yeah, yeah,
Even if you don't insure your ship, you
Oh!
still get a payout.
yeah.
So
Right.
someone is tracking what's fit to your ship.
Yeah.
So
It's
when
only
your
based
ship
on the
gets-
whole of your ship. So if you have just like a ship that's not fit, you still get the same money back
So
as a ship
we
that's opposite
should
fit.
add. They
That's a
should
good
add
point, Rain.
module
Good
cost to
point.
the insurance.
Good point, Rain. Thanks for
Yeah.
jacking
Points,
in there,
Rain.
baby.
High five, team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to shoot holes in
we
my
need-
fucking
hold on,
plan,
we need
right?
to-
Yeah, we're gonna fuck that F1 pusher up.
Correct. We need to take that ISK faucet and up it. We need to make insurance cover modules too, and rigs, and drones, and ammo, and cargo,
And cargo,
and everything.
implants.
Flex tank.
Well, yeah.
I think we need the
No,
summer of
implants
fucking
are in
fairness.
capsules.
I think we need the
Insurance that,
summer
oh
of
my
fairness
God.
protests.
Actually, speaking of implants, if you loot a corpse that had implants, why don't you get the implants from the corpse? Why can't you like salvage them from the corpse?
Why can't you
we
get the
There
gold
was that
teeth?
discussion a few years ago.
This
yes,
was, yeah, I
and
was
that
saying, like,
would've
this
been
was
awesome.
actually a discussion back when we were not even the Open Comm show. This is back when we were the DJ Big Country show on Eve Radio. We had this discussion that you should be able to salvage corpses and get like kind of like essentially stuff that like salvage that you'd build rigs out of. You should be able to get that kind of salvage, and then that is what you should, because like right now implants are made out of what? Can people even make implants?
You buy
I've never
them.
gone
Buy
into
'em.
that
You
I
part.
think
could
you
buy
buy
them,
them.
and then you buy them on the.
I know
on
I played the
for
game for a long
free.
time, and I
Sorry.
do some industry. I've never gone into like gas mining, and I wasn't sure if gas mining was used to build implants or not. I know it's used to build drugs, and that's it.
Oh, McLeod just
I
said
think
that
implants
the new
are only.
insurance...
So it's like that's what we were saying. Like you should be able to build implants out of the salvage from corpses, and that should be where implants come from. That would add a whole new market to the game.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
Oh.
Drayden.
I'm sorry that I never got into implants. I never even fucking used the things hardly. I think I've bought like 6 sets of implants.
I know,
since
but there's many
started playing the
conversations that
game.
have actually happened over the years
By
of
the
like
way-
being able to like make things like implants
Well, my
from
brain is
corpses and shit like that.
my
you know.
brain holds information like a fucking sieve. All right, I'm
I
sorry.
need implants.
You guys should whenever you're in a fight and like you're solo and like a bunch of people try to whore on your kill mail for your pod, just say
Unplug
you,
your implants
it's not well one unplug them,
so
but
it don't
two,
mess up your kill board.
two even if
Right.
you don't have implants, say you unplug them because it pisses people off.
All right,
Oh,
And
okay. I
this
see
is
that
the other
of it.
part of it is that people, the kill mails make people act in stupid ways that don't make any sense. Like Logi pilots become horror pilots with little drones they put out one at a time. AI do it. People.
When I know I'm gonna get into a car
shit.
wreck, I'm throwing all kinds of shit out of my
when
car
I
at the
fly
end.
Logi, I have 5 rep
people
drones in
change
my,
their
in my
fit
hold.
before they die in big ships. Like there's a lot of stuff that is really kind of it's really the reporting mechanism that is meant to motivate people backfiring in certain ways. And I wonder if like there's a better way to report stuff and keep all that kind of functionality without motivating this really dumb behavior. Yeah, moving on.
Boat.
Oh,
Your
Jesus.
sister's married to Boat? Wow.
Shots.
Your sister's there? Oh, like from my earphones over there, I could hear like sister, and I'm like, Drayden's sister's there?
No, it's her husband's birthday today, so I was giving him a shout out to him. But no, Otto Bismarck. What did he just say? There it is. He said, to be honest, tubes who unplug implants are cowards and pores. I agree. Anyone that like
I mean, they were already tubes, but now they
Yeah.
are coward tubes that
like
are also
the people
poor.
that unplug implants to reduce their kill mail, or the people that self-destruct their
Oh, no.
ship to, or well,
Yeah,
the one
that
the
kind of
one
stuff.
time where self-destructing is okay is if people are toying with you and you're like, you know what, I don't got fucking time for this shit. I'm gonna self-destruct. You got 2 minutes to kill me, or I'm fucking out of here because I am
I
not
do
gonna
that
sit
all
here
the
for
time.
20 minutes and let
If
you
you
toy
take-
with me. Get fucked.
Yeah, if you take more than 15 seconds to kill my pod, you're really bad at shooting a pod, and I'm going to self-destruct.
What was that? McLeod says Drayden mic calls are becoming synonymous with the
Aziz
I don't even know what
Light.
that means. Is
It's
that meant to
Aziz
say
Light. Have you
Nazis
seen Fifth
light
Element?
counter
It's a
from
Fifth
Fifth
Element
Element?
reference.
Yeah, have you-
Aussies?
You've seen Fifth Element, right?
Yes.
You know, in the very beginning, the Egyptian temple, where the guy, like the kid, keeps falling asleep
Oh,
with the
yes,
light
yes,
banner. He's
yes.
like,
Okay,
Aziz
now I get it.
Light, and he pulls it up. I know.
I thought he meant
I'm
to say
gonna-
Nazis, and I was like, "Whoa, hey, bro! You know, people in
Yeah.
Europe listen to us."
Fuck me.
Can we talk about the New Balance team now and the
No,
Seagull?
hold on. Let's just quick skip through a couple of things. We'll actually move
Maroney,
that
thanks
up.
for the
We'll
follow.
move that up in front of Tech 3 Cruiser Rebalance because that we're just not smart on that. But anyways, I just want to say that apparently they have begun to crack down. We said last week that we thought that CCP was cracking down on the ghost training exploit because there was some dude out on Reddit who like posted that like something about 107 billion and half of that was like pacifiers and shit. But River this week on INN posted an article, I think it was actually yesterday or late last night or something like that, to where there are more people that are coming out, and there's actually more to it than than just this dude on Reddit who's like, oh shit, I got taken or whatever, because it doesn't happen quite like that apparently. Apparently, CCP has done their investigation on the people that they are at least initially targeting. Okay, who knows? Maybe they've got different waves of this that are happening, right? But apparently they're providing them with like itemized bills that basically say, you've got this many characters. Here's all their freaking names. I put that names part in there because, whatever. I'm not quite certain about that. This many characters totaling this much freaking SP that we have deemed to be a ghost exploit. How would you like to make restitution? And they are actually giving them options. One is to basically extract. They will provide you with the extractors, and you can go in and you can, extract the SP and hand those extractors over to them. That's one way of doing it. Another way is to pay the ISK value that they determine of basically the SP that they have determined that you have ghost exploited. And the other one, and this is kind of interesting. This is kind of interesting because it actually puts a bit of more labor on CCP in this regard, is that they're basically going to allow you to pawn your assets to CCP at the estimated value. So when you look at like your assets in like the screen, it shows that estimated value down at the bottom, which is not what you could technically get it for on the market, right? It's almost like a fucking pawn shop, or it's like the sheriff coming by and going, you know what, you owe taxes on your house. We're going to have an auction. And you know that house is going to sell for like $1 more than the taxes that are due.
Wait a minute. I didn't know this. So you can actually sell your stuff remotely to CCP?
Not sell them. You basically provide them with a list of the assets that equate to the ISK value that they have said it comes out to. Based on that estimated value down there, and then they end up somehow handling that transaction. So the example that was given to me, okay, was of this person that was not intentionally ghost training for profit. They were a farmer, but had supposedly stopped farming, but their accounts lapsed and went into ghost training status, okay? They had 179 characters, with illicit SP ranging from 200,000 on a character up to something like 10 million on a character, that was valued at approximately 800 billion ISK worth of excess SP. And now they had to choose, well, how was it that they were going to get right by God, right? Are they going to accept the extractors free of charge from CCP, extract all that across 179 characters and give it back? Are they going to say, oh no, you know what? Look, I've just got ISK in my wallet here. Take the fucking ISK. Are they going to give a boatload of assets? And apparently, from what I've heard, they were going the asset route because they couldn't be bothered with all the clicks it was going to take to extract those SP. I think it's kind of interesting that they've given them multiple options for getting right with the system, right? We're not looking to ban you, but you're giving that shit back. And this is not supposedly something that is happening down at kind of lower levels, like, oh, I just screwed up and didn't know it. Yeah, you got 179 characters, you got 59 characters, you got 69 characters, or whatever the hell it is, okay? They've targeted who they're targeting, and they're saying, here are your options for getting right with us.
So if you want to keep the liquid ISK instead of the assets, you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to reach into your real life money pocket at home and buy a bunch of Plex and sell it into the market, you know, think about this would have been like, I don't know, like $1,300 or some shit, you know, to buy enough Plex to sell it into the market to just give CCP the ISK. I don't know. Anyways, this was the example that I had. Apparently, they are cracking down. Apparently, there are people being, you know, hit out there. This particular example, 800 billion ISK.
Hey.
Now, you know, I looked at that.
I mean, that's a lot, but
10 million SP on a character, right? 10 million SP on a character. I think I calculated today. If you're completely geared towards, you know, your attributes are geared towards that particular skill, and you have +5s in, so you're generating 2,500 SP an hour. I'm sorry, 2,700 SP an hour. It's like 153 days that this thing trained for under that to get to 10 million. To get to 10 million SP. And even, yeah, to get to 10 million SP, yes. End. Boom. So whatever. Shit's coming down out there. You know, I don't know. Look to the left of you, look to the right of you. There might be some monkey next to you that like ghost trained.
How does that work with you? Because you were on top of this issue and outraged publicly before you know, most people were.
You know what?
What do you think? They resolve it or what?
I think it's interesting that they are giving them. I think it's interesting that they're giving them multiple options for getting right. I think it puts more work on CCP actually to be able to administer the collection process of this. I mean, this is like a whole town worth of people where like their debts have gone bad, and now like the collectors are having to go in and go, okay, look, you got different ways you can do it. You can either like sell us your kid, or give us your house, or give us the cash. But whatever, so they're not just going after them on bans. Now, we don't know. Maybe there are people out there that they're sitting there going, dude, you did this intentionally. You made money. You had 1,000 characters working on it. Fuck you, you're banned. But at least by what we're seeing from this right here, based on River's article and the people that she's talked to, so I'm getting this kind of like, second, third hand kind of a thing. So I'm kind of rolling with it, just something to talk about. It looks like they're at least giving some options.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I remember when I first got to EVE. I came over from a different game, and a couple of people came with me, and they went back and posted in the old forums of the game before, saying this is how the new game that I'm playing handles cheaters and botters. And it was a really, CCP was being really strict in annihilating people that were botting and stuff like that. And he was very happy to be in a game that was really kind of doling out justice for people who were cheating the system. So that's always been kind of a good thing about CCP and how ruthless they are with people who kind of break rules to get ahead. And this seems to me to be a nice softening to that edge, to be firm about it. But
I think that they're being hard. I think they're being hard, but they're providing some options for people to get right. I mean. Noisy wrote a good article the other day on his blog that was related to a lot of this stuff, and he went back into something that was done a few years ago relating to an exploit. Okay, and the way it was handled then was different than now. The whole exploit back then was handled different than it is now, but. He went into some interesting things that I think are even more important, and it's actually one of the better pieces regarding this entire ghost training, thing at all. And damn it, if I wasn't like pushing to talk right now, I would actually go out and find it. I will get it and put it out there to people, but it's the Noisy Gamer blog. That basically one of the bitches that I had, and one of the bitches that other people had, and it really kind of like came to the front, right, was the fact that this seems to have been sat on for 7 months. We don't know that that's the case, okay? But what we do know is that it was over 7 months before CCP said anything to the public. They acknowledged it to the public. Okay, that's Nosy's blog, but and it's going to be the most recent one, yeah. So, anyways,
yeah, so I didn't bother. I just put
there are different ways that you disclose things, right? One is you don't disclose to your player base at all. You don't disclose to your users at all that there is a flaw. And the problem with that is that the only people who will know that they are at risk of, there being a flaw are the people who are taking advantage of the flaw, right? The ones who, or the ones who, know about it just by happenstance, right? And then there's another one that says, if there is a flaw, you tell everybody immediately so that, if they're at risk of it, meaning that it could harm them, they know, oh shit, there's something that might harm me. And the other ones know, hey, they know that there's a flaw. Maybe I don't want to try and exploit this too much. And then there's a third path, which is kind of, we're not going to tell you right away. We're going to attempt to fix it before we tell you. But if we run up to a certain point to where it's taken too long, and this is something that should be determined at the beginning of the investigation, right? That we're going to we're going to set a time frame, and if we can fix it before that, then we'll fix it and then tell people. But if we can't fix it by then, we will alert them to it. It seems in this particular case, from what we can tell, it's like CCP fell back on kind of this, well, we're not going to say anything until we fix it, regardless of how long it takes. That may not be the case. We don't know what the internal things are with this. But the person who came up with their exploit kind of theory a few years ago was CCP Shriegs, which was shit. I'm going to more easily say his name than his in-game name, from Goons. What was his goon name?
Who?
Before the Matani, he was in charge of the goons.
Darius
Johnson.
Darius Johnson.
My God, how do you guys not know this?
Yeah,
I was being K-Color, but what was
it was Darius
he was a
Johnson.
security guy at CCP, and he basically said, the way we want to do this is the latter, right? And I forget exactly what form of responsibility that is right now because I can't think of words. But that basically, the goal will be to fix it within a reasonable period of time, and if we cannot, we will then alert people out there to the fact that this is going on, say it's a freaking exploit, and that we will be coming after it, but nobody should be do it. And that is what makes the most sense. In this particular case, it does not seem that they adhered to that kind of standard that was set back then. I don't know what their current standard is today, but whatever. Noisy wrote a really good piece. I think it's really worth reading. Not even by you listeners. CCP, you need to read this shit. You need to read this and set yourself standards, because that is how you avoid the community lashing back over the fact of, well, did they not know about this? Did they just avoid this? Were they just letting it go in the background? Because because Noisy makes a good argument out there that, you know what? If your standard is we're not going to acknowledge it, then what happens within a development process is, well, then we don't really need to fix it right now, do we?
Well, I was thinking, because, like, Darius was the original leader of Goons, but, like, wasn't, like, it was, like, Cartoon or something?
Not the original, nope.
Oh,
We're not
it was
getting into
Remedial.
who's in between.
Yeah,
Well,
it
who
was
was
Remedial,
Cartoon?
then
Cartoon was the guy that
and
didn't pay the SAW bills that made Goons lose outer space, right?
Remedial started it with Shut Up and Shave, or better known as Suez, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know Suez was that old.
Yeah. The Goons actually were kind of his side project, because when the guys from Something Awful showed up in Eve, they showed up in different corporations.
Well, yeah,
and
I
all
know they're
flamed
down
out.
in the south. I mean, like, when I first came into the game, they were already established up in the north. Like, the Northern Coalition was already taken down and all that stuff.
No, they were down in the south with Red Alliance.
Well, yeah,
so
I'm just saying, like, but
Red Swarm.
Cartoon was the guy that didn't pay the SAW bills and made them lose their space in the south, right?
Something like that. That's not exactly what happened. I think he put somebody in charge and didn't give them the right, bank accounts.
Because, like, after him, like, because he just, like, disappeared from the game and left, and then SOBs didn't get paid, or SAW bills didn't get paid, and then that's when Matani stepped up and made the new alliance.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay, I don't know my
but-
history that well with Goons back in that time.
You generally have it right. Maybe I'm being overly specific, but Cartoon didn't arrange for the bills to be paid while he went on vacation. The place imploded, and then it went back to DJ, who changed the whole corporation name to something else that was like illegible. And
It's like a bunch of fucking letters all put
Yeah,
together, but
yeah, it was like-
or
it
something.
was really long. No, it was
like I didn't even know what it was, but it was like a huge
solo
annoying-
Drakbon,
Yeah, that's it.
backdrawn solo Drakbon, solo Drakbon.
Oh, isn't there
Dot.
someone named Solo Drakbon? I didn't know. Okay.
Yes,
that's-
yeah, there was a whole thing there. But
Okay,
it was like,
I
what?
knew the person named that. I didn't know that. Okay, that's the reference then. Got it.
And then they went to Syndicate and flailed for a while, and then they moved up to Tau Ceti Federation space in the northern area. I think. It
Yeah,
was
we crashed the couch up there for a while. Yeah, in Tau Ceti.
Oh,
and they
Yes,
recuperated
there were other people other than Darius Johnson and Matani. Okay,
Yeah.
can we
Roscoe-
just stipulate that?
Yeah, Roscoe's okay. So he's apparently it's all in the Goon Wiki under history.
It is.
Giant mass.
Because they've got like a whole history.
Okay,
book
that's
there
the thing.
that
Is
you
like
can go read.
I don't do forums.
I
Like,
totally
I
encourage
I
you,
sign
Drayden,
up for
to
the
go and
forums I'm
read the
supposed to sign
history
up for,
book
but
of like where your organization came from,
You know what's
yeah,
cool?
or where your parent organization came
Yeah, it's
from.
like, I mean, like, I sign up for forums when I'm supposed to, but I don't actually fucking read forums because I don't like them.
And that's a
Not a
long
good
time ago, man.
forums. But yeah.
Who really wants to go back 10 years for, I don't know, just to find out what... It's interesting if you were there and you heard about these things to get it clarified. It's like it's interesting to go back and say, what was that band Journey all about? Like, I'll go watch some YouTube.
You know
and
what
see
they were
like-
fucking about, bro.
I don't know.
They were about roller
Open
skating and
arms.
getting laid.
That's right.
They're about
So-
broken arms. I mean, open arms.
All right,
Anyway,
Drayden, you ready to roll that video?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So we got a video.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Are you
just
going to
wanna-
tell everybody about this out in
You have a
Vegas
show
about the whole
tomorrow,
history of
Matterall.
Goons?
Come on.
No, I'm not going back to history. I just wanted to say that there's something very interesting that people don't do anymore, and I encourage people to do this. Corporations used to have a historian. That was a job in a corporation, and you would
Really?
write down all the things that were happening. And if you look back at some of these old websites, you can see there's a timeline of people's achievements, the group's achievements.
Why don't we have that anymore? Why do corps or alliances not have
Because
scribes?
people like you don't read it even when they put it the fuck up.
If they
That's
put it
probably
in a
why.
fucking ping and told me and made a pap link for it or something, then
Right?
I'd read
No one
it.
want Paplinks. What's up even Paplinks? What if we just removed Paplinks?
Drayden
Maybe
can't go to the
everything would be
bathroom without
better.
a fucking
Hey.
pap link.
You got to get your pap in when it's needed. So
Jesus.
I
All
was
right, but we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something here that we don't normally. Oh shit, that's a fucking empty beer can. We're gonna go do something that we don't
We're gonna do
normally do
shots.
here, but I
Oh,
think
fuck.
that all of you need to see this. We're gonna play the first 2.5 minutes of CCP Seagull's postcard from the Edge today. She released a new one. It's the first time that we've heard from her in, I think, a reasonably long while. I don't think that we've heard from her in video form since FanFest. So this was the first time, and I think they dragged her out and said, "Oh my God, you need to talk to the players." But yeah, go ahead, Drayden, throw that up.
Shots.
yeah, I'll do shots. All right, shots while we're watching this.
Hello EVE players! Today I'm bringing you some news and updates about EVE as we head into the summer. I want to start with talking about game balance. This topic has been extra hotly debated in the EVE community and internally in CCP over the last weeks. Game balance is really important to us, but we haven't necessarily been prioritizing balance work correctly or been as good as we should have with communicating to you players about the problems that we maybe recognize and we're looking at them, but we haven't acted on them yet for various reasons. And we will keep discussing and thinking about how to do better with balance, but today I have 2 updates on things that we are changing right now in how we work with this that you should see translate into actual balance changes in the game soon. First, we are going to dedicate a team to ships and modules. Previously, we have spread out the work on ships, modules, and balance on several teams who had other primary work to do. And this has worked really well for some things, and we will keep doing this in some ways. But we think it's time that ships and modules also get full priority for a dedicated team, who can focus both on balance of what's in the game already, and on new additions to our equipment lineup. You'll hear more from this team about their plans soon, as they start operating with this new priority as a key part of their mission. Secondly, we are taking a new look at our roadmap for structures in order to bump up the priority of addressing the combat and defense balance issues that have been discussed heavily in CCP and the community this year. Our focus with structures has been heavily on feature parity with starbases, stations, and outposts, and general quality of life. And we have delivered tons of updates and changes on that theme. But it's clear we now need to prioritize the work needed on balance and features surrounding combat and defense around structures. Some changes will come as soon as we can get them created and tested, such as changes to void bombs to open for more dynamic fleet compositions when attacking structures. Other issues that surround vulnerability and timers need solid design work, and the CSM Summit this August will be a prime moment for discussing these topics. These 2 priority shifts certainly don't solve every balance issue in EVE Online, but they are big steps towards improving how we work with balance and to make sure the game you play every day is in good shape. And speaking of balance, our massive overhaul and balance and design pass on Tech 3 ships in the game is coming to EVE in our July release. Looking to both improve the looks and make it possible to have skins on these ships, but the main show here is of course the gameplay changes, where discussions with the community and the Strategic Cruisers Focus Group have had a big influence. The changes are geared towards emphasizing what makes these ships unique, focusing on subsystem swapping, really creative combinations of bonuses, and lots of possibilities with overheating to get results that your enemies might not expect. I also want to mention a few more things coming up in July and August. A blog went live last week about the next phase of Project Discovery. We talked a ton about this at FanFest, and now it's actually becoming reality. You will be able to help search for unknown planets in our actual universe inside EVE Online. I hope you all give it a try, and maybe find a reason to share EVE with a science or astronomy interested friend. We are also cooking up more events that run for a limited amount of time. It lets us play with the storyline of the EVE universe, stir up some fun in the game, and generally bring people out to meet in space. Our next event is called Welcome to the Agency and starts on July 18th. In late July, we will also see this year's Alliance Tournament kickoff. We have a very exciting lineup of teams this year coming out of the feeder rounds that are now complete. Commentators are preparing to fly to Iceland, and the prizes this year are Serpentis themed and looking really nice. EVE-NT will broadcast the first 2 weekends starting July 29th, and the last 2 will be streamed from our studio here in Reykjavik. In August, we will also have more exciting news about the upcoming winter expansion. Thank you for being part of the EVE community, and I will see you in the next update.
It's already over, Dirk. I was like, it's only got 30 seconds.
Jesus Christ, no, I didn't want to go into that fucking nonsense that we talked about last week so that you can go on some freaking rant about planets.
It was a minute, and I was like, you know what? It's almost done already. I'm just gonna play the whole fucking thing. I'm sorry.
Like put some stuff at the end, you know, it's like, oh, you know, and guess what? We're also going to be doing shit with Tech 3 cruisers and, like, you know, get your astronomer friends to come play EVE.
Sorry, Dirk, we're going to have to say later, bitches, 30 seconds earlier than you wanted. I'm sorry.
No, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to put everybody else kind of like through some of that stuff at the end. Okay, so look, right off the bat, what's the first thing that they're doing? Number one, this was extremely positive from the standpoint of it was about time that somebody at CCP didn't acknowledge the kind of superficial issues that drove the late spring of mild discontent, right? But they recognize the underlying foundational issues that are kind of generating the underlying discontent that then gives form to kind of rage and things like that, right? So it was good from that standpoint. And one of those things, apparently, is this issue of balance. Now, this is something I know that the CSM is really high on. They think this is the fucking greatest thing since sliced bread, is that CCP is going to be creating a team that is dedicated to ships and modules, not just in terms of balance, but also in terms of introduction of new ones. Let's just fucking take it from there before we get on to the next goddamn step of this. Some people out there, I saw them, saying early on in the Twitch chat that this is something that is long overdue. Look, my belief is that, guess what? Fucking balance of ships in this game, it's an ongoing forever thing. And I'm not sure that a single team is going to actually fix it, because I don't want to see them get insular in their view. Look, if everybody told you right now that it's going to be Fozzie Rise and they're bringing Grayscale back for this, what would you think about that?
People would riot, but the thing is, when it comes to balance, not just in EVE, in any game, when it comes to balance, when you have the vast number of differences, whether it's ships, or champions or characters or whatever the game is, when you have the high number that EVE has and a lot of other games have, when it comes to balance, it is impossible to make it completely balanced. There is always a X is better than Y, Z is better than X, Y is the bastard child that no one wants to fly.
So you're right, but there should not be a X is always better no matter what, and everyone should fly X.
That's true, and that comes down to their dedication to maintaining an equilibrium between the things that they have out there. Unless what their goal is you know what? Look, we want to change shit up from fucking time to time. So therefore, we're going to let stuff get out of hand, and everybody's going to move to that. And then we're going to go, guess what? We knew it was out of hand. We knew you'd move there, but now we're going to shift you over here. I'm not sure that that's what they need to do. They need to be looking at things holistically. Maybe a team will do that, in fact. Maybe they will look at these things more holistically than just a narrow focus on this ship's out of whack, let's mess with this ship, as opposed to, wait a second, let's look at the broader landscape of things that we have to play with out here.
Well, right, and so, when it comes to balance, I agree. It's if there is one thing that's this is the best over everything else, and there is no question about it. If you don't fly this, you're going to probably lose. That's a problem, and that needs balance. But there is always going to be these handful of things are better than the majority of the rest, and these handful of things are worse than the majority of the rest. That is just an inherent thing with if it's not that way, then there's not enough differentiation in your game. And so the thing is what balance is, hold on before you go, Dirk. The thing with balance is you have to shift it to keep it interesting. So it's these things are on top. That's what meta is these are the top right now. This is the meta. And this is everything else that could work if done right. And then this is the shit. It's if you're flying this, it's just because you like it but it's dumb. And that's the normal for every game. And then it's okay, this has been at the top too long. We need to shift stuff. So we're either going to nerf this or buff this And the thing that we buffed is now going to become the new meta top. Or sometimes you bring stuff up from bottom to top, but it's like you shift stuff around to keep it interesting.
Sometimes you're top, sometimes you're bottom. That's not the way the world
so
works
it's like
now.
things shift around, but it's like you were always going to have a select group of stuff that is better than the rest, and you're going to have a select group of stuff that's the bottom of the barrel piece of shit stuff, and you cannot balance it. You can never balance something perfectly.
No, you can never balance something perfectly. Okay, but probably the bigger issue, okay, and people need to recognize this, that look, a dedicated team to balancing of ships and modules is not going to solve one of the largest problems that they have, which is number one, okay, a large number of ships. I mean, there's a reasonably large number of ships and variations in this game, okay, but also the idea of size. When you're trying to balance a ship as an individual ship on the field, that's one thing. Against another ship on the field, even against all of those, multiple numbers of ships that are out there. When you also begin to take into account, it's not just one ship, it's 250 of those ships. And what can that do? Now you start to get into an entirely different level of equation that a dedicated team is not necessarily going to be better at than kind of the ad hoc teams that they've had in the past. So let's not get our hopes up too fucking high on this. I think that it is a good move depending on who they put on the team and what their overall view is. But let's not for one moment think that this is going to change what is an always, forever, never-ending battle that they are going to have with this game.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's healthy. If you have a constant change in the game between the battle of what's supreme or not, that's healthy for a game, because that causes people to shift their gameplay, which then causes them to be interested in changes to the game, which causes them to continuously play the game, to either sell what they have, rebuy stuff they don't have, it causes action in the game and it avoids stagnation. I mean, stagnation can happen, but it's like it avoids unnecessary stagnation to keep the game, essentially fresh. Like, that's the whole point of constantly rebalancing the game over and over and over.
Well, Chainsaw Plankton says something. He says, I guess my worry with a dedicated balance team.
Balance is always an ongoing thing.
I guess my worry with a dedicated balance team is that they change stuff too quickly as they have to be doing something. Look, I don't think they have to worry about make work with this group. Okay, what they have to worry about is that they take a broader focus, that they don't just go and change a ship, okay, and get it into balance and then rebalance 5 others and then unbalance 5 other ships in the process, right? So that then what they have to do is, a year later, they get back to revisiting those things and correct the fuck up that they made then, or the what I'll call unintentional consequence that they made then.
So I think what you guys are also missing is the fact that CCP has always kind of put balance second. So what you have are all these teams who have a primary focus, and obviously these developers spend a lot of time focusing on that, whatever their task is, whether it's UI or something else. And then balance always came second. Whereas now having a dedicated balance team, they can say, okay, let's take a look at, I don't know, I always hear people complain about assault frigates or like the missile changes coming up. They can say, okay, why are we getting feedback that say it isn't balanced or overpowered or underpowered, and what can we do to fix that, and how will that affect things? And so it's not like, to Chainsaw Plankton's comment, it's not that they're going to, you're hot micing, LB. It's not that they're going to be, always forcing balance changes, but there's always different parts of the game that they can kind of focus on, where like now, instead of doing like their primary focus of what they're being paid for with balancing like missiles on the side, they can just actually focus on doing that balance. And I believe that's what the CSM has actually been pushing for. I know Jintan has spoken in the past of like, say, having CCP focus on like balance sometimes, as well as there's always people complaining. I always hear like complaints about assault frigates and stuff, like stuff's broken, stuff's underpowered, stuff's overpowered, can it please be fixed?
Yeah, but this is a problem that kind of irritates me about the current devs. I shouldn't actually say devs, but just the current pathway is that there's such an emphasis on ships and fighting and that sort of stuff. You don't see this kind of attention paid to economy. So you're going to balance ships, and there's no there's no
So-
understanding how they're going to fit into the wider implications of Eve, not just how they fight
Well,
each other. It's
and
not a
that's a good
tournament
So,
game.
like, ship balance and PvP is the easiest thing to bring balance into. But I mean, it could be other things as well. Just because, they say, okay, we have a focused balance team, that doesn't mean it's only going to be ships. Who says it's not going to be focused on, like, module tier side or,
Well, because
data
they said
sites versus
ships-
relic
Yeah,
sites?
because they
ships
said
and
ships
That's
and
what they
modules.
focused on. That's what they focused on. But
Yeah.
who says it's not going
Well, I
to
mean,
turn
those are the
into...
words that they use. We can't go in by anything other than the words that they
says
use.
Can
that they're
we
not going
go
to
in
focus
English?
on like relic and data sites or like PVE and null
Relic
site versus
combating.
PvP and wormholes or something like that. And who says the developers on that team are going to permanently stay on that team? Who says they're not going to cycle in and out based on what the desires needed and whatnot?
Well, I
it could
thought that's what the point was to get a permanent team of stability looking at this thing. And
No, it was to get a dedicated team.
So-
I mean,
Well,
the
dedicated.
individuals on the dedicated team were permanent.
I don't know. Do other people swap out of other teams as well? I guess.
Yeah,
they do.
yeah. I know CCP Punk Therese, when she came back, she said she was on a different team. I believe they came out with a different community team as well, from what I've been hearing from FanFest. So it's not like these devs are like, oh yeah, they hired me as a ship designer, and then that's all they do. They
Well,
only
but the
design
message-
ships and only.
The message the company is trying to send to the players is like, we heard you, we're taking you seriously, and now not only do we have Fozzie, who concentrates on ships, and Rise, who comes out of that background of ships and combat, and we have Larrikin, who are ships and combat, and then the people who are like empire builders and sweeping social experiment people, they're like, okay, more emphasis on ships and combat. Great.
And let's
we
not
have-
forget that dedicated here does not necessarily mean that the people that are on this team only do this, right? It just means that the people that are on this team, when they're working for the projects that are on part of this team, are dedicated towards this, right? I mean, Larrikin might be on this team as part of the larger team, right? And therefore he may be having input into, say, capital ship balancing or things like that. Maybe Rise is doing something. And I'm throwing names out there because we don't even have fucking names. I'm just throwing
Right.
names out there that we that we know. For all we know, it's CCP Ishgard, that nobody knows who he is, right?
CCP chair.
CCP
And
Chair
Quant.
might be on this fucking team for all we
right.
know. CCP Quant might be on this team. Going,
Yeah.
how do we dial down 260 million ticks?
That wouldn't
you know,
be his
That wouldn't be a
primary
bad
job, then,
idea,
though,
though.
would it?
It wouldn't be his primary job. However, he
Well,
would
then
be
why?
dedicated
that's
to
not a
dialing
dedicated
down tick
balance team,
costs.
then.
Well,
You
and,
can have a
but
dedicated
again,
balance
we
team
don't-
because
we
that is
don't
your
know.
focus.
Well,
The
Like, I don't
dedicated
know
balance
if you
team
guys
means
have
that
ever
that's what their
seen-
fucking
I don't know
job
if you've
is.
ever seen SDLC processes or any sort of company, but most corporations encourage cycling of people. They say, okay, you're in this part of the business, you should probably move somewhere else to not only do professional growth, but as well as to enlarge, to help the company, because you bring a different background to, say,
Exactly.
a different process. That is so common amongst things, and CCP is a tech company, they're a gaming company, they're obviously going to be focused more on, agile SDLC, as somebody pointed out in chat, or Noisy pointed out. They're an agile group, which means they have constant change, that change is expected, and that people are going to be moving and learning more.
well,
So
and-
when
it's not
week-
gonna be-
next
Jim
week,
comes into the
CCP
office
Fozzie's
in
in
the
charge
morning.
of Plex.
well,
When
and,
Jim comes into the office in the morning and he's on the fucking balance team, he's not working on art. He comes in and he
Yeah.
does balance.
that's
Until he gets told he's not on the balance team anymore, and then he goes back to art.
That-
Or to the accounting team. Or to
It's
the
all-
fucking
it's all-
janitorial
Yeah,
team.
and he
or wherever
brings
the
all
fuck
of
he's
that
going.
background.
If
And
he's
he
on the
brings all
balance
that
team, he's on
background.
the balance team. I know he brings the background, but when he's on the balance team, his primary combat function of the day, when he comes in at 9 o'clock, he punches his fucking card, he goes in and he sits down behind the
Card
computer and he
punching.
does balance.
he's
That's
right
it.
on that, but Ruka,
And
I
then
feel
6 months down the road, when he gets rotated out, he can go do whatever the fuck he else wants, and maybe balance is a secondary
all right,
function.
so
Yeah,
so,
and that's the dedicated balancing, but it's not a
We don't know how
permanent
this is
members
going to
of the
work.
balance
Everybody
team.
needs to recognize that. You know what? Look, again, today was a high level video that was sitting there going, number one, we've heard you. Number two, here are the things that we're beginning to change in order to kind of, focus on these key areas. We've only dealt with one key area so far. Okay. That number one and number two are good. Everything, the details matter, though. The details, we'll see how this spins up. We should all be happy that they're recognizing it, and we should all be happy that, you know what, maybe we'll see some things, to where they are looking at this in a way that they have not in the past, if this is a legitimate change.
all right, now real quick, I have a couple things. So Roscoe before was saying yeah, but some of the ship balance things are based on the mechanics of the game, Citadels, That's a good point. I mean, like some of the balance is not tweaking that specific thing in question. Sometimes you balance a ship up or down based on other things that you mess with. If you mess with citadels, if you mess with, other ships, it might make another ship worse. So that's true. But as far as the other thing that Matterall was going on to with like economic balance and stuff, I would assume, like, I mean, isn't that kind
That's
of real quick,
and I
That's a
totally
new
fucking
topic,
agree
though.
that
I don't
that
think she. Go ahead.
we need an environment balance team there.
Yes.
Okay, as well, or at least people who are willing to seriously fucking consider the goddamn environment. Okay, and that and that's economic and that's like gameplay, and there's a whole bunch of different things that kind of fall under the environment scenario, because sometimes it's not about just balancing the ship. The ship may be entirely right. Your environment may be wrong.
Well, right, and so like when it comes to the economic balance type thing, though, one question I had was, isn't that kind of balanced on what is popular in the meta? I mean, like if Ishtars are popular, there's going to be a high demand for those, and so their price is going to go up. That's going to be the thing that people start building, and so that shifts the economic balance because now people are moving from that instead of building, say, wolves or
Zealots.
whatever, zealots or like,
building zealots,
whatever the meta is. Like when the meta ship changes, the production changes to accommodate that.
Think about
Demand does drive price, but so does demand does drive price, but so does how something is actually made and how hard it is to actually make something.
Oh, so you're talking about like changing like the production requirements,
production value, or
about,
that is a way to balance the ship.
What I'm talking about is the larger message here. The larger message is that a lot of people got upset recently about things not being easy to kill or structures not being easy to kill and a few other things. And their message to us was, we hear you. But who are they hearing? They're hearing the people that are complaining, say on Reddit, or people who are complaining in forums about certain things. The people who have been quiet, who are saying the game's not as bad as all these people are making it out to be, are the guys that are kind of getting, I wouldn't say getting screwed, because they're not necessarily getting screwed, but they're the ones not getting the attention. And I think when a game like this, where you have an investment philosophy, an investment hobby, where people live in this world and invest long-term and make long-term plans and build up seniority over time, that is like something that has to be considered too. Not just, they may not be the ones screaming in the forums about like, my ship can't do what it should do, or I can't fly an AHAC anymore. There should be a larger consideration of the overall game's health. And this message, it's a good message, but this message is, we hear you and we're going to focus on what you want us to do. And
no, that's not what it's saying.
That's kind of what I hear.
Hold up.
Don't read that into this as being kind of the end of the Summer of Rage, where they came out and basically said, you know what? Y'all were fucking right. There's like 3 years worth of shit that we need to fix. That's not what this is. This is basically acknowledging the fact that there are some underlying issues, one of which are balance things related to ships and things like that. They are taking a different development process, and they are creating a dedicated team that is, you know what? Look, you guys are dedicated to focusing on this. Let's not read way more into it.
Real quick, well, that message that Matterall did say is brought to you by Tito's. And Nanok did say before that everything is better with shots. That is actually Tito's motto. They let us know this weekend that they have switched to that. So
I feel like I'm letting the world down here.
We're gonna do a shot of Tito's.
I'm gonna do a lot of beer.
For that cover as shots.
Well, I think this is not something that just started. This is something that's been going on for a while. I feel like the reason that the next expansion is PvE based is because they're coming around to it, because the FanFest wasn't spectacular. There wasn't a lot of like interesting new gameplay. It's really just they're just going back to balancing and balancing and balancing. This is all post-Incarna stuff.
Because this game has been around for so goddamn long, with players in it that are old and players in it that are new and everything in between, that, you know what? Balancing becomes fucking harder. Balancing in this game was fucking easier in 2004.
But it doesn't matter. Why not new gameplay?
It's easier to balance less things than it is to balance a lot of things.
Look, you've already had a land rush, right? These guys have come in, they've built up a lot of wealth, they've played the game for a long time. It doesn't matter how you balance ships. They're going to be advantaged by the amount of wealth they've made over the years. So bring in new gameplay. Like, can you imagine if wormholes appeared like now as opposed to when they did? Like, it would be a whole new land rush that some people who hadn't been here very long had a chance to do very well in.
Are you saying something like player-made Stargates?
Well, they've held
Or
that over us for what,
planet
4 years now?
colonization,
At least 3 years, yeah.
Bring Eve to the ground.
Yeah, they need to.
What if there are Ewoks on planets?
Okay.
Yeah.
Should be like No Man's Sky, where you can land on the
Yeah,
planet and
why are
first
we-
person gets to name like all the critters and
I'm
stuff.
talking. I'm not.
Why are we
CCP,
relegated to
please give
humans?
me
Why can't we
something.
play the,
No, we're
Sarlaccs
not going
and
down
shit
this
like
fucking
that?
rabbit hole. See, this is Dirk on fucking beer. We're not going down this fucking rabbit hole
Oh,
because
man.
there is actually an even bigger issue that I think is more pressing and is actually more fucking timely, because this whole thing about ship balance and module balance, we will be talking about this 5 years from now. Okay, this is something we will be talking about forever because it's a forever project. However, what is in the kind of here and now is the second thing that she talked about. They will be taking a look at the roadmap of structures with an eye on prioritizing the balance and features related to combat and defense, notably void bombs and vulnerability windows and timers. Now, here's the thing, right? The discussion of this will take place at the CSM Summit that comes sometime in August. I believe it's going to be in late August. We literally had
It's right
fucking
after the AT.
We
It's right after. Well, wait, is that public? Oh fuck!
Oops.
Okay,
I thought that was public.
whatever. You haven't signed your
You're lu-
NDA yet because you haven't been up there yet. But
I've signed way too many NDAs, but yeah.
or or you've heard shit or whatever. It's going to be sometime in August. Okay, last year it was sometime in September. I was thinking it was going to be in late August. If they're actually having the summit
It's like
right
August.
after.
It's right after the AT. That's like the only.
Yeah,
week
yeah,
in
yeah,
August.
yeah. So the AT would still be late August. Okay, so it would still be late August. Whatever. Okay. By the time they actually have the discussion with the CSM, now CCP will bring their ideas to that, and the CSM will bring their rebuttals, and they will bring their freaking ideas to it, right? We're talking sometime probably before implementation in the autumn, okay? Or what we like to call in the fall. Who knows? Maybe it'll stretch out longer. But it seems to be that they're going to do this sooner than what they were expecting. Do you have a fucking fan in your arms, Drayden?
I do.
He's hot.
It's hot, man. I'm super
Jeez.
hot.
Hot or not?
Anyway,
I've been tempted
this
to like.
right here is the thing that is holding up nullsec. And I'm sorry if you're from someplace else out there, like wormholes or like highsec or lowsec or whatever. Okay, this is the thing that is holding up nullsec. Is this long-term freaking thing that's going on with structures, and the fact that they won't do any givebacks on what's going on with the combat aspect of these structures until apparently they're done. Except that now they're saying, nope, fuck it, we're going to revisit what appears to be earlier than expected. This is a big shift, and what we can only hope is that the actual implementation of whatever the fuck it is they come up with to move this stuff forward actually results in people going, yep, now's the time to fucking fight.
And I think that whole video thing was Siegel only mentioned void bombs specifically as something part of the game, which made it really kind of impact to me that finally there's some kind of defense talk internally with CCP that they know this is probably the structures and citadels are way overpowered. So yeah, I was glad that she specifically named void bombs as being part of a balance issue with structures.
Recognize what okay, look, there's a difference between overpowered and, yes, we recognize they're overpowered, but we are in the middle of a transition. We want players to shift over to these things. We want them to get comfortable with these things, and then when we pull the crutch out from under them, which is pauses and stations, we can also pull out some of the OP nature of these structures, right?
We've known stations are going away for a while. They announced that at
We've
E
known it,
Vegas,
but they're still there. They're still operating
but they're still
as
there
usual.
because they can't do it, because that code they've probably internalized that they know this is a horribly part of the code of the programming, but they just can't get to it. It's such a long process. I understand that, but they're finally recognizing the other thing that they brought out. Citadels are just you can't kill them. Time zones. She mentioned time zones. She mentioned, void bombs as two specific things, and
Absolutely.
citadels. Yeah.
You can kill them. It just, I think there's just narrow paths to it. They want to widen those paths to give you different opportunities. For
Well,
instance, void bombs take
go.
all the capacitor out of fleets that are basically trying to attack it. So you get ships like battleships, like Macarials, that don't need
Like
to
shield
use-
fleets.
Yes, to
Shield
use,
fleets.
use capacitor in order to shoot to keep the DPS on the structure. That really narrows the field to a certain group of ships, and that's what they're trying to balance out basically, so that you can try to attack these things with other things other than Macarials.
So
But
that's
we've
that's
been in a
interesting
period where we
dichotomy here.
recognize it's imbalanced, though. But it's imbalanced because we're still in this kind of like limbo, right? This limbo of new structures are coming out. We're waiting for this shit to get done. But what's cool about this is it seems that they recognize, holy shit, and maybe it meant that it was going to go on as long as I thought it was going to go on, that they're going to sit there and say, for the good of the game, we're going to need to front load this a little more to get the combat and defensive stuff back in balance even before all of our shit is out there.
I think it's a messaging thing. It's probably to pacify people who were upset, because it's basically saying, we hear you and we're focusing on these things, and these are the things that you care about.
Well, was it a pacify or placate? I mean, that's kind of a
Well,
kind of splitting hairs.
I think it's to
here, but
recognize.
I think it's to
it
recognize.
recognize, right?
Recognize!
No,
Somebody should
seriously.
screen capture that and tweet it out.
It's important, because I have there's probably more. Oh well, I won't go any further with that. Anyway, it is
Well,
something
don't
to say.
bait us in.
Yeah,
They
come
really.
on.
When you say it's probably more, let us in on your
There's probably
insight
more
and
bad
knowledge.
news ahead. I don't know what it is or when, but there's probably a little more bad news ahead, and they need to really pay attention to the order in which they make announcements. So I have a feeling this is a good announcement, and there'll probably be an announcement that's not so good soon.
So do you think CCP has gone away from, let's say, when they do an announcement and saying, okay, we're going to take something away, but here's something maybe to offset that? Have they gone away from that mentality to say, we just got to take everything away because we're so overpowered in this arena, right?
I mean, I honestly don't know how they think. I'm just going by what Aerith says he's advised them to do, and what other people have, complained about. Thinking about CSM comments and some of the comments I've seen from devs, putting it together, thinking that they are working on their messaging, because the beginning of the late spring was kind of a hot time for them with so many errors in messaging.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad as it was, a few years ago, but yeah, it was just kind of a, Reddit
But these
uproar.
things are like wars in EVE, right? Like there's a little bit of conflict, and then all of a sudden momentum just topples something, and then everybody rushes through, and that's how it is in EVE, and that's how it is against CCP. It's all the same behavior.
Fucking lemmings run over the same cliff and they run
Yeah,
up the
as soon
same
as-
hill. I mean,
as soon as
that's
people
just how
see
it
a-
works.
Oh man, don't
People
get
see
me
a
on the
fire.
lemming
Lemmings
thing.
are lemmings.
Don't get me on the lemming thing, because that's actually a fake. Lemmings.
You're a lemming.
Lemmings do not run off cliffs and kill themselves.
You lie. We all know that
That's a
lemmings
farce.
run off
It's a
fucking
farce.
cliffs.
The whole video, back in the mid 1900s, whenever that the fucking self-proclaimed
How much video was there in that time?
no, hold on, it was video, but the whole research guy that did that, he saw the lemmings, and he saw, I think something got chased off a cliff. I'm not sure the backstory, but he saw that and he was like, I want to see these. I want to report these as something that commits suicide on mass levels.
Yeah.
That video of the lemmings jumping off the cliff, that's very popular. You know what that was? He had a spinning disc they set up, and they put a bunch of lemmings on it, and the disc was launching those things off the cliff.
So
They
you're
were-
the guy that sits on the other side of the gate and says, I'm not jumping yet. FC didn't say
Yeah,
jump.
yeah, so it's
I'm
like,
not jumping yet. Fuck
that-
this shit.
that video
and
is
you're the
actually
guy that
false.
gets killed on the next side of the gate because the other part of the fleet is warped off.
Yeah, that
Were any
video
lemmings
is
hurt
false.
during that
Those
video?
lemmings are not jumping off the cliff because they're all doing it on their, they are being forced off the cliff through inertia, basically. Like
Back in the day,
that guy
to
killed
make
a bunch
point,
of lemmings
we
to
forced
say
some
that they
lemmings off
commit
cliffs,
suicide.
but that does not mean that lemmings
It's
don't have
not
a
true.
suicidal
Lemmings
tendency.
do not. Lemmings live on
That
cliff
is-
faces, but they don't just run off cliffs and kill themselves.
That is
because
horrible that somebody
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
horrible,
It's
but
Could
bad.
you
just like
imagine
that
if
I
PETA
like
was
that in
around back
TeamSpeak.
then?
It's horrible. Yeah, it's
They're
really
super
bad.
cute. Like they're a
They're
small
lemmings are
like-
fucking nice
hamster.
little
Like,
fucking
They're
those
fucking
drakes
rodents.
that
If
jump
somebody
through
can link
gates.
that in
Those
Twitch chat, yeah, I just linked that in
Those
in
rodents
TeamSpeak.
have a sense of self-preservation like every other animal, and they do not commit suicide. They were.
So what do you
forced
want
off
us to
that
call
cliff.
them?
They were killed.
If they're not going to be lemmings, what would you like us to call them? Because there are
Popsicles.
people out there that will
Popsicles.
just literally follow people off the cliff.
Popsicles.
Trumpkins?
Poopsicles.
I mean, what do you want us to call them?
Popsicles or blueberries.
Popsicles? Well, yeah, popsicles is kind of a wide encompassing thing.
because
Yeah.
they're brown.
They may be
Fudgesicles.
like atomic pops or whatever. But yeah, okay. The point is that there are people that like follow things off the edge, right? And whatever.
Well, what I'm
Lemmings
saying-
worked for a
it's
long
more of
time
a-
until Drayden educated
Yeah, I
us
know,
tonight.
I'm
Really
sorry I
weird.
ruined the whole like term
Next
for
time I-
everyone. It's
next
still
time I
a term.
Leroy
It's still
a game.
valid, but like the whole the actual truth about
Brayden's
lemmings.
right. I found an article about it. Like,
I-
it was a Disney like.
The
Yeah, it
myth
was a
of
Disney, it was a
lemmings.
Disney thing. Yeah, Disney. Like that
Oh,
guy
Disney,
for Disney
oh.
killed all those rodents to make
Damn
people
Disney.
was
believe that they commit
perpetuated
suicide.
by a 1958 Disney documentary called White Wilderness, which filmmakers manually ran a pack of lemmings off of a cliff to make for good television. The stage
Can you
suicide.
believe that within the same family as mice, right? I mean, mice is a rodent, and lemmings. It's like, well, you won't kill Mickey Mouse. You'll sit there and run lemmings off. This is bullshit. Fuck you, Disney.
You're all about
the
equality.
evil
man.
empire.
Yep. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble, but like that's the truth about it. I mean, like the term lemming still applies because the term is set now, but the truth about lemmings is they do not do that on their own accord. They were forced off that cliff and killed.
Well, I'm going to carry this story to the next NC Lemming jump, so that they can.
Yep. So
You're talking about how RKK lemmings their ass off of the NC dot fucking
TIL.
banner?
RKK
TIL,
Lemming.
Hurricane Lemmings.
Well, they didn't lemming. They got
all
Yeah.
right.
Deserved
Well,
it.
booted.
we'll do some shots for the poor lemmings because you know what? I don't think anyone is lament. Well, I'm sure a bunch of tree hugging people or whatever it is has lamented those lemmings, but we're gonna do a shot to lament those lemmings.
All right. Speaking of
Shot.
RKK, I'm
They gave their
contemplating
lives for a false moniker.
putting together. I'll finish my sentence. An article on RKK because they just got booted from NCDOT. And it was kind of interesting because
Wait.
they were the last corp that was missing from NCDOT. They were in PL for a long time. Otherwise, missing by what I mean by missing is
Why are
of
you laying
the-
this off on fucking PL, bro?
of the Bob group. There was a few corporations, like 4 or 5, and all but one were in NCDOT until RKK came to NCDOT, but they actually just got booted under shady circumstances. And there's just a neat story
Okay, you
there.
can't just say shady circumstances.
Shady.
You gotta tell us what.
Oh, I think it's making the rounds. You'll have to find out for yourself. This
Whoa,
is one area where I will get.
Oh, you're
booted
part
for
of the
this.
media. Why
I
are you
have to
going,
find
well,
out by
hey, you know
myself.
what?
What are
I'm
you
not
talking
going to
about,
say it
Madeline?
here now, but, it's making the fucking rounds. Apparently, from the rounds that I fucking heard, okay, there were some leaked internal documents. I don't actually know what was part of them. They may have just been fucking cartoons and, like, pictures of Vince or something, that were leaked out there. And then... But worse, there was some chatter in kind of an open place where they were shitting on Vince and they were shitting on NC Dot, and Vince got word of it, and 12 minutes later they got their fucking boot.
12 minutes later.
Damn.
No,
Because all the
literally, I
facts
heard it was
down to
12
the
minutes later. It
exact
may have been
minute.
11 and a half, but it may have been 13, but I'm not
The
sure.
only thing I'll say about this that people may not know is that the paddle was swung by Lady Scarlet.
That good or bad?
Oh, it's
She's got a
Mean
fucking
She's got
ass-
a mean paddle.
yeah,
combat
paddle
boots.
hand.
Yeah.
She's got she's
Like a
got
pimp hand,
holes,
but she's got a paddle
holes
hand.
drilled into that paddle, and there's like 6 holes drilled in that paddle, so it just catches that wind and smacks that ass really hard.
I heard in the 60 seconds before that she offered to rent them space, but then when they said no, she whipped the paddle out.
And Noisy Gamer's actually right. It is funny because nobody really nobody really criticizes me for this, and I think I'm open to criticism on this. Is I can't really say stuff about NC Dot one way or another because I may get kicked out, and if I get kicked out, it has ramifications for me. So people say like, "Oh yeah, you're always towing the line for mittens and goons and stuff like that."
You kind of do that.
The reality is, well, sometimes, but it's not towing the line. It's just kind of.
It's not towing the line. It's like you're like buddying up. I call it buddying up.
I go for underdogs, and for a long time when I was talking about goons, they were the underdogs, and but what I haven't done is out and out criticized NC, and there are things to criticize, but that's not what I. That's one place I can't go, so I can't do that.
I mean, what is it you find about NC that is like drawing you to say that there are things to criticize, but you won't do it?
Actually, I don't think there are major things to criticize. I like the way it's run a lot. And I'm not just towing the line here, but I like that it's not a tissue or a PL. It's a lot, a lot bad behavior isn't really tolerated and stuff. So I like that. So I don't think there's a lot of stuff. If it's open to criticism,
12 minutes out. 12 minutes
12 minutes later. I'll be looking for a new home.
Hey, you know what? It's the way it goes down. But anyways, you know what? We got like 8 minutes left. Games Poner will be coming on after us tonight, so there won't be any of that. Oh shit, just give us 3 more minutes. Nope, fuck that. We're gonna get out on time because that's how cool we fucking are. But I do want to say that we do have a patch that is coming up. I don't know, what do you want to call it? It's not a fucking patch, right? It is a
it is.
It is no, it's a release. It's a release.
Okay.
It is not the winter expansion. It's not the Citadel expansion. It is a release. I am calling it the Amazon Prime Day release because also on that release day is Amazon fucking Prime Day. So there's some shit going on out there. Like what? The really big fucking thing on that day is the Tech 3 Cruiser rebalance. Let's not even talk about the fucking agency right now, which is coming on the 18th, 7 days later. But on Amazon Prime Day release, the Tech 3 Cruiser rebalance is really front and center for what's going on there. Do you guys have any comments about what's going on with Tech 3 Cruiser rebalancing?
You can put skins on them.
Not yet. I think that's later. Later.
Is that the 18th?
I think it's later.
I
don't know.
Once they fix the models, then they're skinnable, right? Because the problem with them is when
but I don't think the actual skins are out there yet.
Wow, whatever.
I haven't seen them on Sissy yet, so I'm
not
sure.
You can put skins on them.
I mean, literally, when I ask about the Tech 3 Cruiser rebalance, and your first thing is, "Fuck yeah, I'm zoomed in." Okay, that's not what I meant. I meant more about the fact that they're getting rid of a subsystem. They're getting rid of the modules under there. How this is going to change the fucking meta? Is anybody considering the massive ramifications there? The fact that right now you can go out there and do sleeper sites, sleeper data relic sites or whatever, okay, and be getting material that's going to go into the build of the hulls of these things on July 11th.
That's right, because there's a new material you need to build them, right?
There is. It's a magic material.
Yes, there is, and there's a spreadsheet I think the Imperium's already put out that shows the
changes.
Did
you guys put that on INN or just like internal?
No, I think it's on the Elysium, which is in our internal Jabber channel.
This is the problem with the Imperium is they don't share with the rest of the world their knowledge.
Well,
just join Karma Fleet. You'll be good.
Yeah, come on. Karma Fleet recruiting.
I got I would go in with negative karma. It wouldn't help me.
Yeah, by the way, Slippery Pete's are harder to run now.
Okay.
To answer Daka.
What about Slippery Lokis? Because I hear Lokis are going to be the shit.
Well, they're dialing.
Lokis are back.
They're going to be dialing back some Loki stuff. It looks like. So I wouldn't hang your hat on Loki yet. Even though
so the 500 MN.
Actually, and that is one of the things.
Proteus,
if you're out there reading stuff right now, there is supposedly still changes that are going on. So it's like, don't think that this is like the last fucking word on this.
I think Proteus might be the new meta, but that's just my guess.
I think it's
the way
too
looking
slow.
At it.
Might be too slow, but you know what? We're going to cover T3 tomorrow on Talking in Stations with Elise Randolph, Apothany, and a few other people.
Nice name drops.
Yeah. I got to give my tips.
Yeah. Man, you know what they really need to do? If the balance team really, really wants to, fix shit,
Mrs. McGurk wants
Kate.
to say hi. She wants to
I
say
mean,
hi
Miss
to everybody
McGurk,
out there.
sorry.
Hi,
She
Mrs.
brought
McGurk.
me the semblance of a chalice because there were people out there that were calling for a
fucking
chalice.
drink.
So I'm
Nice.
going to.
It's
It's
a
actually
Coke
like
cup.
this, it's got like sand dollars on it and shit. It's like a summer plastic fucking whatever. It's
Wait,
not my
Dirk,
blue
Dirk,
thing.
Can you
Yes, he
fill
shows
that
on
with
it.
something? And
Say hi to everybody. Say hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
See you at Eve
Fill that with
North.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Dirk, fill that with Fireball.
Yeah, fill it with Fireball and be like, yeah, okay.
No, I got no fireball. Maybe next week.
Oh, okay.
That you mean Mrs. McGurk doesn't have Fireball?
Man, I was gonna say something. Oh,
Chat.
shit.
Great
All
answer.
right, so, let's do shots. Cause that'll help my memory. I know it.
Shots for Mrs. McGurk. Wait, let me pour one.
The other thing,
We
real
do
quick-
shots for Paul's wedding.
All right, so Pearl was
thought we
mentioning
did that
in
already.
chat. He was
It doesn't hurt to do that one.
Pearl was mentioning in chat that there was an increased chance of Aurora Borealis this weekend. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I will tell people if there is that chance. I mean, if you live super north, like LB here, no, sorry, had to. But no, if you do live really far north, they are a much more common appearance. But if you don't, it takes a really big solar storm for you to see it farther south. But if you have a chance to see them, definitely fucking see them. I lived in Anchorage when I was a little kid, and I went up to Fairbanks to see the Iditarod and stuff, and there was an aurora going on. When you see it, like, you can see it on TV, you can look up YouTube videos, and it's pretty cool looking. But like when you see it in person, it is phenomenal. Like it's like you can. There is no video that can. All right, this time I saw it. The TeamSpeak chat came up, and I canceled it. Okay, so hopefully.
James Porter, what are you playing tonight? Tell us in chat.
Oh, okay, Games
Keep
Porter.
talking, Drayden.
All right, so while she's spinning those, like the whole sky gets covered with this shit. It's fucking amazing. So if you can see it, that is one of the things to see in a lifetime. Even if you have to travel for it, definitely do it.
I was late for work
So
once
cool.
watching that stuff.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Jackbox. Okay, she's
Well,
doing
you're
some
in Canada.
Jackbox
Jack-
so
games.
it's like,
Nice.
whatever.
Yeah.
Which is great. Jackbox Games is actually really fun because it's a game that the audience plays with the streamer. So definitely tune in and play that with
It's
her,
like
'cause
open comms. You play this with us.
it's even better because open comms, they hope that we see what they're saying. Jackbox is
Oh,
like
we
you
totally
actually,
see
like,
what they're fucking saying.
I-
We
I've-
just disregard half of it.
Well, I've played Jackbox with Games Pointer several times. Like it's actually really fun. Like it's a whole like it's almost like a apples to apples kind of mixed with a bunch of other games, but it's you playing with and against the streamer themselves. So it's actually really fucking fun. So definitely
With and against.
stay tuned for that. And all right, so we're at 7:59. We're pretty much out of here. I'm gonna do a shot
Yeah.
for the road. Anyone doing a shot? Let's do a shot, and then
I'll
we're
finish
outta
the rest
here.
of my fucking chalice beer here. You know what?
Yeah,
Peace
yeah.
out, bitches.
Peace out.
We're gonna do a shot, then we can do
All
later,
right,
bitches.
later, bitches, and then yeah, Game Ponies are up next.
Shots.